The ones that hate me the most look just like me. You tell me what that means. Make a slick comment and see what that brings. I seen it go down, we can reenact things. Extreme like DMXing. These boys pussy, they PMSing. People in the city see the movement occurring and say, my God, I wanna be in that scene. Damn right, you wanna be in this scene. She had the video trying to be in this scene. Used to fantasize about being in this scene. Bluegrass girl, but she got big dreams. Can't touch me, I got instincts. Locked in the house, but I'm plotting things. I brought a gang to the party with me. 5 white boys, but they not in sync. What y'all think? Fuck everything that you say about me. My dogs like to play Madden in 2K, but one thing they don't do is play about me. My homeboy Tyler, he plays South Beach. He told me this summer he gon' fix my jumper. I told Boy Wonder that we might got a thumper. I've been trying to pop, now I'm on like Shumpert. Now they on my bumper. Green room chock full of all my comforts. Hotel room like heaven on earth. Got angels in my bed with some all white covers. Ace Pro Nemo, Lucy and Kiso, Sloop Clay Tufo, and I got a few more I call my brothers. I got a lot of flows and they all like butter. You know what that means. I came home nice, but I'm going back mean. I'm about to glow trot when they know a vaccine. Motherfuckers act lost, but they know exactly what's going on. Made a meal and I don't know what to blow it on. I tell a critic shut up like my show is on. Give a t-shirt to her, said throw it on. She want a mini high school classmates, I'm growing on. My peers ain't popping, they don't know what's going wrong. Y'all well dressed, but you ain't got soul and you just can't sew it on. I'm trying to tell y'all boys, I got a few songs I can sell y'all boys. I tried it back then, it was hell nah, boy. Now I'm in a box like a Kellogg's toy. The ones that hate me the most are just like me. You tell me what that means. Make a slick comment and see what that brings. I seen it go down, we can reenact things. Extreme like DMXing. These boys pussy, they PMSing. People in the city see the movement occurring and say, my God, I wanna be in that scene. That's right, damn right, you wanna be in this scene. She had the video trying to be in this scene. Used to fantasize about being in this scene. Bluegrass girl, but she got big dreams. Can't touch me, I got instincts. Locked in the house, but I'm plotting things. I brought a gang to the party with me. 5 white boys, but they not in sync. No, they not. No, they not. Word to JT, no, they not. Word to JT, no, they not. No, they not. No, they
Close your eyes. So watch you do the Macarena somewhere out by Pasadena. Love a drug that everybody here just trying to get a taste of. You a waste of the space that you take up living. This time around I'm not kidding. I had an intuition about these women and suspicion got me looking at shit different. How a man in my position can't start slipping down these slopes, cause it's all just. As a kid I didn't learn that, but when you were young and you just trying to live your life and have some fun in a world where you have yet to see how evil it's become. It's hard to have a dream when you deep inside of one, and I know you hate them spirits, so I keep them in my lungs. I'm a beetle to these young kids, but sometimes I be feeling like a needle to these young kids. You had the world, you about to leave it to these young kids, and we gon' show you what the love is.
Stay high, don't fall what you know. Let it in your mentality, and don't ever let it go.
It won't stop.
You can't fight the feeling. You can't fight the feeling.
It won't stop.
You can't fight the feeling.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rick T Podcast. I am your host, Eric Combs. As always, along with my longtime friend and co-host of the Rick T Podcast, Jello Rexroad, and with a very special, warm round of applause, we welcome back our other co-host, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tony Caveman. How are you boys doing today?
Good as always. How about yourself?
I'm well, man. Tony, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Trying to figure out my internet. I think this cold weather crashed my internet. But
It froze your fucking internet lines and shit.
something, yeah, it's like -8 up here. So
I'm feeling it, bro. If you're not in Colorado, you don't understand. But if you're in Colorado somewhere, you guys probably understand. It's like 3 inches of snow everywhere you go, negative degrees. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the truth right now, for real, for real. But before we get started this morning, on our very first Sunday morning podcast, I do want to remind everybody to go follow and subscribe to us on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, to show us some love and for you to keep updated with all of our new posts, videos, and news updates with sports and the Rick T podcast. Now, fellas, let's jump right into episode 32, man. We're going to start off we're going to start off with UFC 258, Usman versus Burns. It was definitely a banger, but check this out.
And the Institute of Human Performance in South Florida, and of course
together. One, his striking.
Class everywhere. There is not a spot.
Earth at present. The Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman, 33 years of age, 13th UFC appearance.
That allows him to be knocking on the door, breaking the rounds.
Beat Colby Covington for the undisputed title. Beat Jorge.
Main event. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Around the world, this Gilbert Dorinho Burns Man.
If you had to look at advantages standing up.
Fight when Woodley started. He hurt Woodley very early.
Oh, head kick.
Work if you want it.
Oh, he's hurt bad.
Oh, he's hurt.
Another big right
bad.
lead leg of Burns, who now is back to his feet.
Oh, nice
knee.
Usman is so well versed in the clinch position.
Gilbert shoots crazy. Oh. Oh.
Good combination from Burns.
Because he's making Gilbert respect that. That's in the action right now.
And it has back Gilbert.
Oh! Massive right hand by the champion.
Gilbert's right hand, but the right hand behind it so straight and hard. We saw him hurt Colby Covington with the same punch. Overhands and not allowing Usman to get the belt.
Oh!
Oh! Huge right from Usman. This could be the beginning of the end.
It's over. It's over.
Expecting a kickboxing match. That's largely how it's played out.
He dropped him with the jab.
He did.
And it could be
10 minutes in the can. How about that?
Look at this. Oh, he hurt him bad.
Usman backing up, trying to throw those big Usman, but I think technically.
Oh! Early land for Dorinho.
Usman switched southpaw.
And that will do it.
That's it.
Hey,
Wow.
Kamaru Usman.
Taking what from who? You know what it is.
Taking what from who? But you guys seen it firsthand. Usman versus Burns. A lot of people bet on Usman. A lot of people bet on Burns. I bet on Usman personally. I know Tony bet on Usman personally. Jello, who did you have in that one last night?
So I actually didn't know. Like, UFC is not my strong suit, so I stayed out of picking anybody just because I didn't know what any odds were, anything like that. So I just avoided the pick for once in my life.
I get it. It's not a bad. It was honestly really even fight. The first 30 seconds of the fight, Usman came out, and he's the champ, so everyone expected him to do crazy things. He came out, got knocked on his ass in the first 30 seconds, and I instantly was texting Tony and Justin like, bro, if this motherfucker loses in the first round, I swear to God. And then I don't know what happened, but Burns ended up on his back and was like daring Usman to come down to him. And Usman was literally just kicking him in his ass. Like he was laying down and just kicking him hard as shit in his ass like 30 times. After that, it was Usman's fight the whole time. Usman ended up getting his striking game down. But funny little backstory behind these guys. Lil J6 says Burns is a beast. He has some power behind him, and I didn't really realize that until last night. You know what I'm saying? He has power behind him. Yeah, you can. But these dudes used to be sparring partners in the same camp. So they know exactly how each other fights. You know what I mean? And there used to be drama and stuff going through the Twitter sphere and Facebook and all that of them knocking each other out in sparring. You know what I mean? So they have beef behind them. They both deserve to be fighting for that belt. So it was easily a great fight. I have no problem about the fight. I'm excited to see Usman and Burns get back in the octagon eventually, depending on who they fight. But it was a great fight. Tony, what do you think of that fight?
Just like you said, early on it was scary, but as you guys saw when when Burns was on his back, telling him to come down, and then Usman just kept kicking his ass. Literally, just kept kicking him. So I mean that I thought it was a good fight. I was on Xbox with Justin watching it all, and he was like 8 seconds ahead of me. So Justin would be like, "Oh," and I was playing Madden. I'd be like looking over at my computer.
It almost worked out for your benefit. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
something good's about to happen. Let me stop paying attention to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that shit. That's just the way it be like that sometimes. But Jello, like you said, you didn't really bet on it. Did you watch it last night, or were you just too busy?
No, I was following up with some basketball stuff. Just to kind of keep up with that.
I feel it.
A few trades and whatnot.
Nothing wrong with that. Was there anything good?
Well, I mean, outside of the Derrick Rose trade, I've just been following that, seeing how he's doing back with the New York Knicks. So.
Oh, I was about to say I seen something. I wanted to clarify with you. He went back to New York, right?
Yeah, he got traded back for Dennis Smith Jr. and I forget what pick, whether it was first or second.
I actually like that. I like both.
There's gonna be some huge ones, I think, this year. So.
We'll see. Yeah, I agree with that. But staying on the UFC 258 topic, Usman versus Burns, that happened last night. There is UFC 259 Saturday, March 6, 2021, and I believe his name is Blachowicz. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like Russian or something like that. But he fights Israel Adesanya for the belt. Two champions fight each other, so one of them is going to lose their belt, I believe, and one of them is going to be a double champion after March 6th. So tune in, go ahead and buy it on pay-per-view, stream it however you guys do it. UFC 259 Saturday, March 6th, 2021, Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. Mark it down on your calendar. It's going to be a great one, and if you guys know either fighter, you know it's going to be a good one. I know my man Peter Yan is fighting in that card, so I'm gonna definitely be there for that one. But I don't know, man. It should be a great one. UFC 259, March 6th, 2021. Like I said, mark it down on your calendars, man. But let's get into the next topic, man. And I've been excited to talk about this one. We've been waiting about a whole week. We waited a long time to talk about the Super Bowl. It happened, and then we had to wait a whole week and a half to talk about it now. But right now we're talking about Super Bowl 55, my man. So let's go ahead and watch this real quick.
Makes the game very easy for the offense.
From the 45, 6 DBs on the field for the Chiefs. Brady goes sideline, and he has his man. That's Antonio Brown.
You can see how excited him and Patrick were about this game.
Play action. They go to Brate with a blocker in front. Cameron Brate down to about the 24 before Damian Wilson finishes him off.
You jinx Spagnuolo? Usually it's the guy you're talking about.
One of those weird announcer jinxes. Here's Brady's pass. It's Gronkowski. Back again. Wouldn't be quite that high. Of course, the career not as long either. 1st and 10. Brady from the pocket. He's got Evans.
Really done a good job of evolving this offense as it's gone on this year.
2nd and 13. Back into the hands of Gronkowski. And it's Sorensen who wins.
Second drive. Now it's tough to stop again.
Brady, play action. Looking. 3rd option. End zone. Caught! Gronkowski again with the touchdown. Hold on, there's a flag.
Jim, this is going to be a touchdown. I think Kansas City held again on the other side of the field. I was watching up top. Mark Evans got held.
Holding. Number 21. Defense. Penalties decline. Result of the play. Touchdown.
I'd still be aggressive. Some sort of stuff to get out quick.
To Godwin. Wide receiver screen, and he's going to be thrown down about 2 yards short.
That's perfect.
And covering 6 or 7 yards, right? I mean, it's just too tight for you to say that's uncatchable.
With 18 seconds, Brady goes in the middle of the field to Fournette, who powers down to the 9. They still have that one timeout.
You fake it here, and then you run on the next one if you don't get it.
There's the fake, there's the pass, and there's the catch for the touchdown. Antonio Brown.
Just unbelievable route by Antonio Brown, and what a job. Brady throws this ball down low and away where no one can get it but him. They're coming after him here.
They rush 5, it's picked up. Fournette with the catch, and running over. They It's Gronkowski running through that secondary. Short field for Brady and company. He's got a wide open target. Fournette gets right under the chin strap of Breeland. There's Brady.
Super Bowl 55, fellas. Super Bowl 55. Oh, shit. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys see me or am I lagged?
You're like frozen.
That's how it is on mine. What the fuck? What the fuck? Give me one.
I should screenshot that. All right. Well, while he's gone, I want to talk about a very I don't know the word. I want to talk about one thing on the Super Bowl that's a hot topic right now. About how the streaker made it to the end zone before the Chiefs. Yep. He did not. He slid and gave himself up at the 1 yard line. He did not score a touchdown. Streaker did not score a touchdown. So let's just end that debate right here, right now.
So on that topic, on that specific topic, before we get into that, I want to agree with Jello 100% and say Gronk should have won MVP. Tom Brady had a crazy game, but Gronk as a tight end playing the game he played, or Leonard Fournette playing the game he played, those two easily deserved it a little bit more than Tom Brady. I'm not mad at them choosing Tom Brady for MVP, but you could have easily went 3 other ways, and I would have been all right with that too. You know what I mean? But let's get into this about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl streaker gets $375,000 payout, but cannot collect it because he cannot keep his mouth shut. So the story behind that is he and his buddy did an own personal bet on FanDuel, whatever it was, that said a streaker is going to run out in this quarter at this time, and I'm going to put $50,000 on it. So he put $50,000 on it, and he was going to be the streaker to make sure that shit happened. So he paid $1,000 for bail, won $375,000, but because he couldn't just shut the fuck up about it and just keep his mouth closed and just like take his money and just be like that guy, he had to go to the social media world and blab his mouth and tell everybody exactly what he did. The betting place found out about it, and they were like, no, you're not getting your money because that's kind of rigged. You rigged the bet.
So he actually, once he posted bail, went to a bar and told one dude, and that one dude texted somebody. That screenshot went viral.
Oh my God.
Of the text, because the dude was standing there hugging him like this at the bar, and he told one dude, and that one dude spread it like wildfire.
So that changes my perspective on things. So maybe, I still would have kept my mouth shut, but still, even telling one person, but like, damn, bro, that right there shows to you how one person can screw it up for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But you're right. He did talk to like press and stuff about that afterwards, and he did like not keep his mouth shut after it spread. He was like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that.
I do want to bring this up too, dude. He put a nasty ass spin move on that security guard. Spin move on that security guard. I was like, damn. And for people who don't know, that little singlet that he's wearing, he's promoting a porn website. He's promoting his and his friend's own porn website. And I guess it's got like a bunch of traction since then, and it's like becoming a thing. But I didn't know that until I was like, why is he wearing a pink singlet? And everyone's like, he's doing that on purpose. So,
yeah,
I mean, if
famous YouTuber.
Dude, if you would have just did it the right way, bro, you're winning $375,000 promoting your website. Like, and you're just good. Like, that's that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why. That is ridiculous, bro.
You know, the guy that makes the Gatorade definitely bets on what color he's gonna make the Gatorade. You know,
exactly. He's gonna bet on that shit because he knows.
But he keeps his mouth shut.
Exactly. By the way, for that bet, I'm the only one here that bet on the blue Gatorade, and it was blue. It was fucking blue. I told you guys, blue is the best Gatorade, especially in a Super Bowl. I would want blue. But Jello, what do you have to say on that streaker, man? I know it was kind of, I mean, it's not random because I feel like everyone should expect a streaker to come at some point in a game like that. But being 2021 during a pandemic, big Super Bowl game, more people focused on Tom Brady versus Pat Mahomes, and then this guy just runs on field, does a spin move. He's wearing a pink singlet. He wins $375,000, man. How do you feel on it?
I mean, I thought it was great. I'm surprised Tom Brady didn't go out there and kiss him on the lips. That's what I got to say. I mean, it's not surprising this happened. You're on national TV. Everybody's home watching it on TV. Why not do it at that point? Yeah, you got to pay $1,000, but you're on national TV, so people pay more for that. So. And I'm by myself.
No, sir. No, you are not.
I was like, this got real awkward real quick.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to go let my dog in. Shit happens.
Jealous and I'm by myself. Nah, my power went out. So.
Oh shit, my bad, Joe. I had to go let Rookie in. Oh shit. Jalen said this man Jello. Oh
Dude, I'm
shit.
surprised Brady didn't run on the field after him. We already saw what he likes to. I mean, with Kraft and everything, so it would have been surprising.
Bro, and I've seen I'm a super Oregon fan, and that happened last year or whatever when I was at the game. One of the Oregon players speared the shit out of the dude. And that's in college, like where they can actually risk getting in trouble and losing their career and shit. You're in the NFL, you tackle a streaker. What are they gonna fine you? That's about it. They're not gonna suspend you for it. You know what I mean? So I honestly was expecting one of those players to be like, fuck this, the biggest game of my life, and you're trying to ruin it. Hell no, and just spear his ass. But literally every single player just watched him and then was like,
It's
okay.
happened before.
They were just like, all right, fuck it. He's gonna run down the field. Let's let him do it real quick. But let's get into this next one, man. I'm actually kind of excited to talk about this because it was, I'll say my opinion first. The Super Bowl halftime show, the weekend. He said he was gonna have a guest. There was a bunch of specific reasons that he didn't have a guest. I guess he didn't want to take the attention off of himself. He didn't want to take the attention off the game. But he put $7 million of his own money into the Super Bowl halftime show, and it looked like a bad FaceTime call. The whole show looked like a bad FaceTime call, bro. I swear to God.
The memes. Oh my goodness.
Look at this. Yeah.
Bro, the
Yeah.
one where I saw a meme where he like that picture right there on the left. It was like what my Hot Pocket sees from inside the microwave.
Oh hell no. It literally looked like he was like holding the FaceTime camera, just moving, bro. Like it was so bad. And I want to know where that $7 million went. Like, what part of that show did $7 million go into to make it better?
I bet it's pretty expensive
you know-
paying all the people alone at that point.
That's facts.
It was definitely the like room that he went into with all the lights and stuff. That's exactly where that
This
7 million went.
motherfucker, $7 million just for that, bro.
Yeah.
My thing is, and I want to ask you guys about this. So this is the reason specifically that I didn't like the Super Bowl halftime show. And it wasn't, I like The Weeknd. I like his music. I'm not going to say that he should be at the halftime show every year. I'm not going to say that. But like, say his song comes on the radio, I'm not going to switch it because it's The Weeknd. I'm going to turn it up. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a little vibe. I'm going to have a little nice time. So it's not his music that I don't like. My thing about it is he made the whole Super Bowl 55 halftime show about himself. I thought it was a very selfish move. He didn't want to take the attention off of himself, so he didn't bring a guest. The whole show and his background dancers was people wearing the little masks because he got that plastic surgery or whatever done, and people were making fun of him for a whole year about it. You know what I mean? Like, he made the whole show about him. And I've seen a bunch of tweets that were like, this is the end of his story. Like, he needed to do this to finish his story with his facial reconstruction and all this and all that. Why? Like, why do you need to finish that story there?
Especially during a pandemic, man. Like, I'm not too big of a COVID head. You know, I have my skeptics about it, but I mean, fucking all white, weird masks over people's faces to like make them think about it during halftime show when you're supposed to be distracting people from what's going on. Like,
exactly what I'm saying, dude. It's like you brought all the attention somewhere where the attention shouldn't have been brought. I'm sorry. Like, if you wanted to make that show crazy, have Pat Mahomes come out of the fucking locker room, do a Dougie while you're doing your show. That would have blown it up. I would have been like, this dude had Pat Mahomes come out of the locker room, Dougie, and then left. Like, that $7 million was worth it. But dude, that $7 million you spent on that room and the FaceTime and shit like that just wasn't working for me, man. Jello, I know you watched Super Bowl, man. How are you feeling about the whole thing?
I mean, I get it. It wasn't the best quality. That's for damn sure at that point. I mean, I like the music, but I really didn't get the concept of finishing his story there. I know they said he was working on it through an album and everything like that, but stuff like that, once again, just didn't need to be brought up then. I'm not mad at him for it at that point. I get it. This is your biggest stage. Why not finish it here? I think it still could have been finished somewhere else, but I'm not mad at him about it. I know people are really hating on him for it, but hey, it could have been worse. It could have been much worse. We could have had like the Charlie Daniels band up on there for the Super Bowl again. So, I mean,
I want J-Lo back.
Dude,
and
I want Shakira, man. That's
no hate on anyone who's done the Super Bowl halftime show either, because you obviously have to be at like the pinnacle of your career to get that gig. I'm not saying anything about the artists themselves. I feel like a lot of it goes into the execution when you're doing it. Like Beyonce, she always has fireworks and a bunch of ass shaking. Shakira and J-Lo, like they brought their daughters and shit on. Like it was cool. Michael Jackson went on there and killed it. You know, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake, he popped her titty out during the show. You know what I mean? Like just shit that'll catch people's attention that I didn't see The Weeknd do, bro. You know what I mean? Like nothing that he did was like, oh, that's tight. That was cool as hell. The whole time I was like, this guy's serious? Like, babe, this guy spent $7 million on this. Like, what the
biggest song of the year, Blinding Lights or whatever it's fucking called. That motherfucker just went on the field and started dancing to it.
Dead ass, bro. Big Blue Jay 92 says Mahomes' little brother could have performed better. He did perform better. I know you've seen his TikTok. They're down like 20-something points, and he's in like the box. Like, people were like, "Oh my god, bro, is he really doing this?" His brother has lost people trillions of dollars to this game, and he's dancing in the box. Like, it was bad, bro. We want Jello or Justin Timberlake. Jello,
get your ass up on stage.
I was saying, Jello, can you make it to the Super Bowl halftime show next year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. That's all we need to know.
They got to give me $7 million. I ain't putting that into it though.
I'll make some calls for you.
I might do some research either during the podcast later on or after the podcast and bring it up next week on how much like the average pay is for the Super Bowl halftime show. And I kind of assume it differs between artists.
I think
like
it's like $1 million or something. It's something like
wow.
that or roughly or more or something like that.
Wow. So it's more to like help your career out than get paid. You know what I mean? Like people are more likely to do some shit like that if you're at the Super Bowl halftime show, but you're not getting that much money from it.
I think it's more the stigma behind it, but I mean that's $1 million for 15 minutes at that point, so roughly. So
I completely agree with that. But let's get into this next topic. Super Bowl halftime show for me was a -2 out of 10, but no hate on The Weeknd. Hopefully he can do better at other shows he does or whatever, but it just wasn't it for me. But let's talk about this. I'm excited for this. NFL says it will not release the audio between Tom Brady and Tyrann Mathieu in the Super Bowl 55 smack talk. Tyrann Mathieu says Tom Brady called him something that he will not repeat. So my question to you guys, low-key, is like, what do you think he said? Do you think the NFL should release the audio, or do you think they should keep it between these players and keep their business kind of business? You know what I mean? Jello, we'll start with you on this one.
So the fact that they're not releasing it, I'm very, I guess I could say, confident that it had to do something with Matthew's race at that point. Because if Brady just came out and called him a little bitch or something like that, NFL wouldn't care. They'd just bleep it out. But to have him on there with the motion of his mouth and people can read his lips, if it's something not bad, it'll tarnish Brady, which will tarnish them as the NFL. So they won't release it. So I know people can go back and read it or try to read his lips or whatnot, but that's my only guess. I really didn't look into it much, but I know when Terrain came out and he deleted his whole thing after it or whatnot, I think it really had to do something with that. But I guess we'll never truly know, but that's my guess. It wouldn't surprise me with Brady at that point. He's just like Philip Rivers. They get so fired up, they say things they didn't mean, but that's my guess at that point.
Big Blue Jay 92 says Honey Badger is capping, and if I'm gonna go ahead and add my opinion real quick, I agree with that. I don't think Tom. I mean, I can see that's literally still going through my head. Is like they're not releasing the audio. It was head to head. He said something that he will not repeat. Did he get called the N-word? Like, what was said? We all want to know, but I understand the NFL for keeping it between the players. You know what I mean? I completely understand that, and especially with the biggest player of them all. They're not going to do what the White House did and just let Trump tweet. You know what I'm saying? If Tom Brady just fucking said something like that, they're going to keep it private, especially something like that. If he's dropping the N-bomb, they do not want Tom Brady or the NFL to be tarnished in that way, especially with all the Black Lives Matter stuff that's happening, the whole Colin Kaepernick thing that happened a couple years ago. I like Tom Brady as a person, so fucking I hope he didn't say some shit like that. I hope he said something about his mom or something. Fuck it. But that popped into my head too. Is like, what else would he not repeat unless it was about race or said the N-word or something like that? You know what I mean? But I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. Tony, coming to you, man. NFL says it will not release the audio between Tom Brady and Tyrann Mathieu Super Bowl 55 smack talk. But Tyrann Mathieu said Tom Brady called him something that he will not repeat. What do you think was said? Do you think it's smart for the NFL to keep it between the players and whatnot and stuff like that?
You know, I don't want to believe Tom Brady's that type of person because, you know, he's the Michael Jordan of the NFL for our generation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more along the lines of something like maybe the C word. We're definitely not going to throw that word out on the podcast. But, you know what I mean? It's definitely not just, he didn't just call him a bitch, but he might have called him something that's a little bit insensitive to a certain group. Maybe even necessarily the gay community, which also I don't want to go too far into. Come down. Come here.
I agree with that. Sorry, my internet is tweaking, so I had to exit out and come back
weather,
in.
Bro. Zig, come here now.
It has to be, bro, because my shit never tweaks. Jello shit's working great, which is weird. Your shit's fucking up, which is weird. Like, it's literally opposite. Things are complete opposite today, but I ain't mad at it. It is what it is. Lil J6 says Tom is a bitch. Coming from a Saints fan, that is completely expected. I am not mad. Jalen told me, he's like, man, I'm so upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. How did you feel when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? I was like, man, I was pissed. But at the same time, I realized that Dallas get to play the Super Bowl champions twice a year next year, which is kind of exciting. Like, you want to play the best teams, knock them off the throne. You know what I mean? You want that. So being a Saints fan in Jalen, don't be too mad at it, bro. Don't be too mad at it. And Jello Rex 23, Wentz to the Saints. Wentz is going somewhere. We're going to get in that in a little bit. Don't talk too much about it. But, yeah, everyone to the Saints. Everyone to the Big Easy. Everyone to the Big Easy. Usman to the Big Easy. But man, I want to talk about this now. The Super Bowl parade. It was fucking lit. Check this out. First of all, this is how they showed up to the parade.
Yep.
That shit is crazy, bro. I seen that and I was like, they're lying. They showed up on boats. Like that is so Tampa Bay of them. But check this out real quick. But yeah, man, you guys get the gist of it. Super Bowl 55 parade, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did it the Tampa Bay way, came in on boats. They got faded on the boats. I don't know if you guys seen the video, but Tom Brady threw the Super Bowl Lombardi trophy from boat to boat. I think there was like a 7-8 foot difference, and he just threw it. Tom Brady completes another touchdown pass. I think it was to their second string tight end. He said he would have retired if he would have dropped that. My question to you guys is, how do you feel about Tom Brady throwing the trophy across the boats? And if you guys were that tight end and dropped it, would you guys have jumped in after it, like immediately?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Jello, we'll start with you. How do you feel about that whole parade, man? Do you think they did it the Tampa Bay way? How do you feel about them being, champions? If you've seen the interviews and stuff at the parade, they said, we're not running it back. That's Kansas City shit. We're going for 2. That's their thing. That's their saying is we're going for 2. Do you think they can go for 2? How are you feeling about the parade?
So I know they did it that way just with the COVID and everything. So they're not doing it on the streets where there's tons of people around each other in a smaller area. They did it more spread out. That was a big reason behind it. Tom Brady throwing the trophy, though, being that drunk, who let him do that? Like, who was like, yeah, this is a good idea. Like, Tom can't stand up straight, but yeah, he could toss his trophy. I mean, that was nuts. But he got lucky Cameron Brate was there. But Cameron Brate said if he would have dropped it, he would have thrown Scotty Miller in. They asked somebody else. They said they would have thrown Cameron Brate in. So there'd have been a ton of people in that river trying to get that.
On God.
But I know everybody knows what I think in Tom Brady at that point. But the team's good. There's no doubt about it at that point. So, but I don't think they're going back. I don't think they're getting another one. They might go back to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're winning.
I agree with that.
But you got to imagine how many players are going to leave now. They got their championship. They're going for the money. Other teams got money to sign them. Who's going to be back next year? Cameron Brate, for example. Why stay on that team? You already won a championship where you could go double your money now somewhere else because you're now a champion kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll see who stays and who goes. But we've seen this a lot with the Patriots team. Just because Tom Brady's there doesn't mean people will stick around. So they won this one. They got lucky with a few things down the line throughout this year. So I don't know if they can do it again, though. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with that. Little J6 says even his daughter was telling him no. And yeah, if you've seen the video, he's like, 1, 2. His daughter's like, Daddy, no. And he just does it. So he must have been faded or just not give a fuck. Like Big Blue J6 or 92 says, he got 6 more at home. He really does have 6 more at home. And it's not like he was throwing his MVP trophy across boats. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different story. The Super Bowl trophy is kind of for the team. I wouldn't have done it personally. But it's Tom Brady. Like you said, he's got 6 more at home. J Money Time says, Tom does what Tom wants. I thought it was legendary, and he clearly doesn't give a fuck about the trophies no more. I think he cares about the trophies, but at that point when he's, a .32 blowing intoxicated like that, bro, he doesn't give not one rat's ass. I'm surprised he didn't throw his daughter across the boat. God. It's like, Daddy, no! He's like,
at that point, like, he's like, I was more scared about the trophy than her, but we'll get through this.
And there is a video from a couple years ago of him and his daughter like cliff diving or something, like jumping off this little cliff, and they were holding hands. And Tom Brady, being like 150 pounds heavier, he dropped so much faster than her, but didn't let her hand go. So he's dropping, falls on his feet, holds her hand. She goes like face down, face plants in the water. And there was a bunch of shit going around like Tom Brady's abusing his kids and yada. Bro, did you see where he kisses his son? He's not abusing his kids. Don't play that man like that.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
He's abusing him in a different way, but we'll know. We won't talk about that.
Hey, we don't consent to that here.
I'm not saying we do.
He said, "What you think Goodell did? Call Tom now. Get them off the boat now." He's like freaking out.
I honestly still want to know who let him do this. Like, out of everybody on that boat, nobody could stop a drunk 43-year-old man. Like,
like Justin said, he does what he wants. You probably can't tell Tom Brady shit. Like, Tom, I made you some shrimp tacos for lunch. He's like, fuck that. I want cereal. They're like, yes, sir, yes, sir, Tom. Fruit Loops on the way. But Tony, we'll swing it to you, man. Super Bowl parade. How you feel about Tom throwing the trophies across the boats? How do you feel about they doing it the Tampa Bay way? Do you think they did it the right way? Do you think they will be back to run it for 2? What's your move?
I mean, I think it was legendary for him to throw the trophy. That was pretty cool. Obviously, it's one of those situations where if it works out, it's legendary. If it doesn't, he's an idiot. I mean, it's not in the river. so nobody's looking for it. It's safe and sound. I don't know. I think it was legendary, but if they would have dropped it, everybody would be calling him an idiot, and I'd be on that boat as well. So it's just kind of like running a flea flicker when you might not want to, but if it works out, you're a smart coach.
It looks good on paper, all kinds of shit. Yeah, I feel that.
Exactly.
A couple more things I wanted to add on that. Tom Brady, everyone's showing up on boats, little cool, like nice little Tampa Bay boats. Tom Brady pulled up on his $2 million yacht. That is impressive to me because everyone who knows Tom Brady knows Tom Brady doesn't play for the money. He's never been that one to be like, I will not play here because they won't pay me this. He's played under a bunch of bullshit terms for New England. He's not making, I'm not going to say he's not making shit, but he's not making as much as a lot of other quarterbacks are here in Tampa Bay. So for him to just pull up on a $2 million yacht shows you that man knows how to handle his money. You know what I mean? Whoever his financial advisor knows how to handle this man's money. Another thing, Jello said that they would have thrown Scotty Miller in the lake to get the trophy. I would have thrown Scotty Miller in too. He threw Chris Godwin's phone in the lake. Chris Godwin's taking a Snapchat or whatever, and he's like, yo, Super Bowl 55 champions. And Scotty Miller literally was like, why don't you just enjoy the moment? Took that dude's phone and chucked it into the lake, bro. I was like, I'd have been pissed. So he got on Mike Evans' Instagram story and was like, Verizon, I know this is going to reach you. I need a new phone, yada, yada, yada. They brought him a phone at the parade. Like they sent a guy to bring him a phone at the parade, bro. I was like, damn, bro. But Big Blue Jay says, I get drunk because it's Friday night. He gets drunk because he won a world title. Give the man a break. We are not the same. His wife makes more than the life, or more than that's the life. His wife is like a professional model and shit too. So you're right. It could be a 50-50 buy. It could not even be his yacht. He just pulled up on it. But let's get into this next question, man. How do you feel about Tom Brady being wasted, man? And we'll start with you, Jello. This man there's a difference between being drunk and I agree with Jason. I'm going to give the man a break. I don't blame him. I would have been blacked out at the same time as him. But there's a difference between being drunk and then being so drunk that you're on your way to do a speech in front of your fans and you have to be carried in the door. You know what I mean? Everyone's seen the video. This man, Tom Brady, was wasted. He was faded as hell. How do you feel about that, Jello?
I mean, this was great because this is not something we've ever seen like from Tom Brady. So I thought it was hilarious at that point, seeing the biggest man in football at that point, not being able to function and acting like an 18-year-old. I thought it was hilarious at that point. I just want to know how much he drank. If that was like 12 beers or he just drinks 2 beers and gets like that, I really want to know.
He was drinking avocado tequila.
What?
He was drinking avocado tequila. He sent a tweet out after.
Yeah, they did.
Damn, that's white. That's real white. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I know they made avocado tequila. What?
That's a rich people thing, man.
Yeah, that doesn't sound appealing at all. Like
it's like avocado. It's like avocado toast. Like, would that fucking catch your attention for breakfast?
All these people.
I don't know. I'm an avocado fan, bro.
And they made it into tequila now, so.
He said Tampa Tom over New England Tom.
Oh yeah, the motherfucker is finally lightening up a little bit. He's not so serious all the time, which is cool. We're seeing a funny side of Tom Brady. He's doing funny commercials for the company I worked for. You know what I mean? He's doing commercials with Gronk, talking about retirement. You know what I mean?
Dude,
so,
he has a little 5-minute blog thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers post like every 3 days. It's called Tommy and Gronky. And they literally just sit down by a pool and put their feet in the pool and just like do these questionnaire type things for the fans. And it's funny as shit, low key, because they're both weird.
Yeah, they're like, "What's your favorite Super Bowl ring?" And Gronk's like, "Oh, I know this one." And then
it's like that. It's like the next one. Yeah, it's the next one.
So
that shit had me weak.
All I really got to say is Tom was out there looking like the first time I partied with Jello. I was carrying Jello's drunk ass out of Butter's house.
Was that the first time we partied together? Oh, that was 2-bottle night, huh?
Yeah, that was 2-bottle night. You went through one, you handed me the other, and you stumbled out in the front yard.
Hey, all we do at CMU is
drink.
You already know what it is. But the Super Bowl parade was crazy. One more thing about the Super Bowl parade, and Tony, we'll start with you on this one. Can they realistically go for 2? Because Jello was just saying how many people are coming back to Tampa Bay. I've seen a couple tweets. Chris Godwin is on the last year of his contract. What's that linebacker? Yeah, Shaquille Barrett, and he actually tweeted it's time to cash the bag. So I don't think he's coming back. I think he's looking for money now. What's Levante David? He's on the last year of his contract, and Coach Bruce Arians said at those interview meeting things or whatever at the parade, he told Chris Godwin and Levante David, your ass ain't going nowhere. Your ass ain't going nowhere either. So he's planning on keeping both. But with that said, how many other people can you keep with paying both of those players contracts like that? So the question is, can they realistically go for 2 with all the contract situations and shit that they have going on? You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I don't see Tampa Bay going for 2. And really, it's the defense that I think is going to take a hit. You're going to lose Shaquille Barrett. He's going somewhere else. Hopefully, he wants to come back to Denver. That'd be awesome.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he's just gotten so much better since he left Denver. So, I don't know. I don't think they're going for 2. I don't even think I see them going to the Super Bowl next year. I see them with a late exit.
And like Big Blue Jay 92 said, study, study, study. I'm not sure specifically what he's talking about, but it's kind of like a Lamar Jackson situation. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens took the league by storm with that running game, that read option game. Give it a year and a half. Motherfuckers were shutting that down. You study, study, study. And I'm not necessarily saying you can necessarily study Tom Brady and figure it out because it's been 20, 21 years and you still can't figure it out. But with the Tampa Bay team that he's around and the coaching staff he's in, everyone knows that team likes to go deep. They like to throw the ball. If you study it, man, you'll be able to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But Jello, we'll swing it over to you. Can they realistically go for 2 with all the contract situations? You already know about them. Can they realistically go for 2?
So it's just that thing. It's just like what Tampa Bay did to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You play and you adapt. And that's exactly what they did, and it worked. They rushed for, kept more back, and that's how it was. So, I mean, I don't think they can, and it's why it hasn't happened since, was it the 03, 04 Patriots did it, 04, 05? But when you look at that team at that point, that was like the Avengers of teams those couple years. So, and stuff like that just doesn't happen anymore. It's why there's that big span between when Peyton Manning won with the same teams and stuff like that. Teams play you, they adapt, just like Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes has been a tougher one. Even after losing the Super Bowl, that's 25-2 in the last 27 games at that point. So there's certain players that know how to do it, but when you have a defense like the Bucs up against Mahomes, it wasn't surprising what they did. They played him before. They just adapted, didn't give him anybody to throw to. Same thing can happen with the Bucs, especially when you look at this game. How many yards were after the catch for the Bucs? I'd say about like 85-90% of the yards were after the catch. Wasn't like Brady was throwing 60-yard bombs all game. It was 5-yard hitch routes, catch it and run. And that's what it was like. The players made him look better. You lose those players, how good can you look? That's no hate against Brady. That's any quarterback. We saw it with Kyler Murray. We saw it with Lamar Jackson at that point.
You're still seeing it with Lamar Jackson. He has no one.
Sam Darnold, for example. Sam Darnold is a very good quarterback.
I agree.
With nobody to throw to. Baker Mayfield, perfect example. When you really have no true targets at that point, no one can catch the ball. How good will you look? So it's the same factor there at that point. Like, you might keep Gronk, but you got Evans or Godwin. You're losing one of those two. If you lose Evans, you're in a lot of trouble. So, and
even if you lose Godwin, depending on where he goes, you're in a lot of trouble, because if he goes somewhere like the Saints, say they try to replace Michael Thomas, Jalen, if he goes to the Big Easy, that's dangerous, because like I said, a lot of people think Godwin is a better receiver than Evans. Me personally, I think they have their upsides on each specific category. You know what I mean? I think Mike Evans is a better receiver, but I think Chris Godwin has better hands. I think Chris Godwin will catch a cold in the desert. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But before we get to the break, I do want to talk about this because Jay Moneytime brought this up. I seen someone compare Devin White to Lawrence Taylor. Thoughts? Before I get to you guys, I just want to say something quick on that. I like that comparison a lot. They both played linebacker. I think Lawrence Taylor was more of like a defensive end pass rusher type of guy. Where Devin White is more of like a middle linebacker, sit in the middle, stuff to run, and he can also play the pass. And this is a bold take. I don't want to get roasted for saying this. I think Devin White will potentially be better than Lawrence Taylor at his position. At that middle linebacker position, stuff in the run, playing the catch with the 4.3 speed he has, you can't beat it. He's powerful. He's fast. He's smart. He has a ring. He's very mature for his age. I think Devin White is the future. I think he's going to get a bag. I think he's the best linebacker in the NFL right now, and it's only his second year. But that comparison, I actually really do like it a lot. But like that's why I'm trying to clarify this. I think he'll be a better player at the end of his career at that middle linebacker position. I don't think he'll be a better pass rusher than Lawrence Taylor, but I like that a lot. Tony, swinging it over to you. Justin, seen a comparison between Devin White and Lawrence Taylor. What do you think on that?
So I don't agree. Lawrence Taylor is a big reason, not the main reason. We've all seen The Blind Side, but he's a big reason why the left tackle gets paid so much.
That's facts.
He destroys tackles. He's the reason that the left tackle is the second highest paid player on most teams. You're not going to see that out of Devin White. You're not going to see positions get paid higher to try to guard a middle or block a middle linebacker. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to have as much of an influence as Lawrence Taylor did. But, I mean, I see greatness. I definitely see greatness. I compare him more to I want to say Ray Lewis, but Ray Lewis.
I was about to say like a really good Ray Lewis, like a fast, maybe a little bit less physical, but a more agile Ray Lewis. I agree with that.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
Exactly.
He can bang, bro. Devin White, I would love to have him on my team. He's going to get paid by somebody. This man, Blake, bro.
I know. I saw that.
I was like, this motherfucker, Blake, bro.
Should we expose him?
I'm like, not even this time, but if you do that shit again, Blake, I'm exposing you. I'm exposing you to everybody. Jello, swinging this over to you. Justin, seen a comparison to Devin White and Lawrence Taylor. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, just the way Lawrence Taylor changed the game, I know that was many years ago at that point. But I don't see Devin White having the same effect on the game of football. For example, like the whole left tackle thing. If it, like, as bad as it sounds, Lawrence Taylor wasn't there, that wouldn't have happened. Look what happened to Theismann. I know it was a horrible injury. It's not a good thing, but it just goes to show the might that man had at that point. And Devin White's great. Don't get me wrong. He is a great player, but I don't think he'll compare. He's already having struggles with certain injuries this early in his career at this point. And how is that going to hold up down the line? Is he going to cut his career short? Is he going to have a longer career but miss more games throughout each year? So that's a big thing. I like the way he plays, but there hasn't been total consistency yet. He's been great, but no total consistency, at least not like Taylor did. So, I mean, we still got more time, though. He's 2 years in. He's got years ahead of him. We'll see if he can stay healthy and what he does, and we could talk about this 5 years from now.
I agree with that. We got to get to a break. Little J6 says, don't even compare them. LOL, what the fuck? I like that comparison, Justin. I don't necessarily think it's a great comparison player to player, but I like the comparison from beast mode to beast mode. You know what I mean? Like they both are one of the best in their positions. It's kind of like comparing one of the best receivers ever to one of the best tight ends ever. You know what I mean? They do the same damn thing, but they're not the same thing. You know what I mean?
It's like comparing Curry to Nikola Jokic. Can't do it.
Shannon Sharp to his brother. One played receiver, exactly. One played tight end. It's just they do the same thing, but one is better at their respected position. You know what I mean? Exactly. But I like that. I like that comment a lot, Justin. I appreciate that. If you guys seen some comparisons on Twitter or anything like that, and you guys just want to know our takes on it, definitely drop them in the chat like Justin did it, and we'll get right on it. But we got to get to a commercial break real quick, little 5-minute break, and then we'll get right into hour 2 of episode 32 of the Rick T podcast. So just enjoy this little commercial break, man, and we'll be right back. Go ahead, take a shit, Blake.
Zion makes his debut. Everybody's watching that game because of Zion. You sold out the Smoothie King Center because of Zion, and you introduce him second.
Zion, LeBron, Red Panda. This is going to be pretty wild, I think.
It's like one of the most electric moments in NBA history.
Zion Williamson. Let's go.
This is the order it's always in. So it's been Ingram, Zion, Favors, Ball, then Holland.
So I have to go Zion.
half get it. I get what Cat's for me. He's like,
Are you excited for Red Panda?
Oh,
Okay.
I actually built my office so Red Panda could fit in it.
Can't intro Zion myself. He's on the fucking wall there, though. Everybody knows why we're here.
He's 45 yards big, right across the street.
Points in the last
The highlight of my life. Come on.
He's pretty good at basketball. We also got to give a shout out to the quality seam shot. You see this rocking eye. He's much taller and larger in person. Right foot. Man, you are musically unique to it. Can't wait to get it started. My new favorite. Here we go. Just
So sorry to interrupt. If you're a man watching this, you deserve to have long, great sex. And you can do that now with our friends at Roman. Right now, you go to GetRoman.com, you get $10 off and free 2-day shipping on Roman swipes, which are guaranteed to make you have longer, more fulfilling sex every time you get in the sack. Now let's get back to the fornicating action. Los Angeles Lakers, welcome to the Blender, the home of a team and a fan base on a playoff push the likes the world has never seen before. Crescent City, get on your feet for tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Sprite, an incredibly refreshing drink. Starting at forward was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Now he's an NBA All-Star, Brandon Ingram. At forward, this man has been dunking on little white kids on the internet for 10 years. The incomparable, unstoppable 6'6" phenom, Zion Williamson. At center, standing at 8 feet tall, from Georgia Tech, number 22, Derek Favors. This man's family had a reality show in Lithuania. He was born and raised in LA, but he found his J in Vienna. Lonzo Ball. And the OG of the roster. On the court, he's a monster. Braids hanging, shots banging. It's not Drew, it's Drew Holiday. Let's get this done. Thank you very much. Go Pelicans. Basketball.
And we are back. Shout out to Pat McAfee, however you want to say it. But we are back with hour number 2. Me, the boy Jello, the boy Tony, episode 32 of the Richie Podcast. And we're about to get right into it, scratching the surface after this beat drop. Shout out, Pat! Pat's the truth, bro. He's funny as hell. He does a lot of crazy shit. Speaking of that, I will be doing the Denver Nuggets announcements in sometime 2032. So mark it on your calendar. We're going to be lit. We're going to be on center court talking about, I don't know, the kids who are in like 8th grade now who are going to be playing for the Nuggets. But yeah, we're going to be announcing them. Oh, God, man. Faces. Lil J6 said, I called it. Thank you, sir. You did call it. But let's get right into it, man. Rick T Podcast, Scratching the Surface. You guys already know what this is, but we're going to talk about all the stuff scratching the surface in the sports world, whether it's football, NBA, NFL, college football, NHL, UFC. We're just going to get right into it, man. So this first one, I'm actually excited to talk about. It happened on Friday. J.J. Watt released by the Texans. So my question to you is where will he end up and why? Tony, we'll start with you on this one. J.J. Watt released by the Texans. Where do you think he'll end up and why? What do you think is the good spot for him?
Steelers. I think he wants to go play with his brother on a winning team. So it's obviously not going to be the Patriots, but but I think Steelers is definitely a good destination for him. Other than that, where does everybody go? The Big Easy.
The Big Easy, Jalen. He's going to the Big Easy. Yeah, let's get hype. No, I'm just fucking with you. Jello, coming to you on this one. J.J. Watt released by the Texans on Friday. Where will he end up to you and why? What's a good spot for this man?
So I got a couple. Biggest one is going to be the Packers. He's from Wisconsin. He played at the University of Wisconsin. He wants to be on a winning team. I think Packers are a good fit for him at that point. So that's a big one. Then you do have the Steelers. Be the first time ever 3 brothers played on the same team. But the Packers are much closer to a championship than the Steelers are, so there's that as well. And outside of that, people have been talking about the Rams needing some help on that line with Aaron Donald. That's a possibility as well. We really don't know until it happens. But my biggest guess would be the Packers. It's where he's from. It's his team he grew up watching. Why not play for him when you get the chance?
I agree with that. Tony says Steelers. Little J6 says Steelers. Jello says Packers, which I can agree with all of those takes. We did a poll on Twitter with the whole J.J. Watt thing. Says, who do you guys getting J.J. Watt? We had 4 choices. One being the Raiders, one being the Cowboys, one being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the last choice being other. That poll, the Raiders other is leading at 43%, a.k.a. the Packers, Steelers. Raiders at second at 29%, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cowboys are tied at 14%. So a lot of people think he's going to go elsewhere other than the Raiders, Cowboys, or Tampa. I put those 3 teams there just because realistically everyone wants to be in Tampa right now. The Raiders are a decent fit just from being in Vegas, and then the Cowboys are a decent fit just because that defense needs someone like JJ. This answer for me is going to be biased. I'm not even going to front with you. I would love to see him on the Cowboys. All of us have watched JJ from his college days to 10 years into his career. He's still a top 5 defensive end in my book, still to this day. Even going through a torn bicep and a torn whatever. He has an injury every year, it seems like. But I would love to see him on the Cowboys roster. The other side of Lawrence, I think it would be a mean pass rush. But at the end of the day, that's not really what Dallas needs is a pass rush. We need defensive players who can play the pass, who can play the run up the middle and stuff like that. We don't necessarily need a pass rusher. But me personally, I would love to see him in a Dallas uniform, stay in Texas. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award a couple years ago from donating his own personal money to Houston when Houston was being flooded and stuff like that from all the dramatic stuff that was happening down there. So me personally, I'm looking at it more of the aspect of maybe he doesn't want to leave Texas. Like maybe Texas is a big part of his life. Maybe he just doesn't want to be on the Houston Texans. Why not just swing a couple towns over and go play in Dallas? I think that would be a good fit for him. I think that would be a good fit for the Cowboys. So that's where I see him going. But I guess we'll just have to see. Him personally being released this early, he has about a month and a half window that he can talk to other teams where other people can't. You know what I mean? Because there is that date to where the franchise tag needs to be signed. And if you're not franchise tag or sign on a new contract, then you're released. And then you can start talking to other teams and stuff like that. But him being released this early, he has about a month and a half to go talk to other teams sooner than other people. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting. J Money Time says Steelers. If not, New England or San Francisco. I just don't know how many people want to be in New England nowadays. New England's kind of the walking doormat of that division now. And it literally happened in a year. It happened in 1 year where no one wants to be in New England. Everyone was talking about New England way. It's the right way. Chris Hogan came out and said the New England way is Tom Brady. It's not New England. It's Tom Brady. And with him gone, it kind of shows that it is Tom Brady. It has nothing to do with being in New England. Potentially has nothing to do with Bill Belichick. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, though. And I think it'll be an interesting story if he does end up in New England. You know what I mean? I think that could potentially be a good fit, too. He might go to Chicago. That's where his wife plays soccer. She did used to play in Texas, though. That's why I thought maybe he'd want to stay there, too. But if she's playing in Chicago, that might be a decent fit, too. And I could see the Bears defense needing someone like JJ. He would never, Eric. You never know that, man. You got to sign Jameis Winston. Anything's possible.
He was really blind.
Anything's possible. Come on now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting topic either way it goes. But stay in tuned with that JJ Watt sweepstakes because he's going to go somewhere earlier than a lot of players. It will happen in the next month or so, and he'll have a new home. People will be able to see their defense with JJ Watt involved in it, so it'll be interesting. JJ Watt has like 5 more years. I agree with that. Raiders don't want JJ. All right. Well, good for y'all.
All right.
You don't want to be in Vegas.
Broncos don't
I
want
was
him
like,
either.
I was about to say, what are you saying with that? Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
The only Texan we want here in Colorado is Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson. Make it happen.
They want Will Fuller too.
No, we want Deshaun Watson. We have wide receivers. We have everything we need. We want Deshaun Watson. And it got narrowed down. For anybody that's not following, it got narrowed down to Niners and Broncos. And I'm sorry, I didn't get the schedule, so I might be throwing off the podcast a little bit. If that's a topic, I apologize, Eric.
It is a topic, but you're all good. Eric, you guys need to worry about your sorry-ass QB first. That's what I was thinking, too, is if Jerry Jones signed J.J. Watt to a 2-year, something $1 million deal, would that piss Dak off because he's been waiting 3 years to get a deal in the first place? That I was thinking that same shit, Jalen. So I'm not even going to hate on that. We do have to worry about Dak first before anything. We can't even sign a new head coach to a deal before we sign Dak, or he's going to be fucking mad. But it would be interesting to see, like I said, keep involved in the JJ Watt sweepstakes. Russell Wilson's team, his personal team around him, meaning like his managers, financial advisors, stuff like that. His team is upset with the Seahawks for not drafting O-linemen in the past. So, Jello, we'll start with you on this one. What do you think about this? Do you agree that this is the truth? Do you think that Russell Wilson and his team are actually upset that maybe the Seahawks haven't drafted a better O-line to protect him? I think I did a little bit of research. He's been sacked like 347. How many times?
394.
Yeah, 394 times in his career for the Seahawks. That's a lot. And especially for a guy who's like 5'10", 210, that you taking those hits 397 times, bro. Like that's gotta be intense. So actually, we'll start with you, Tony, on this one. What do you think about this? Do you agree? Would you be upset if you were part of Russell Wilson's team? What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, yeah, that's like not taking care of Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. That's like you're not taking care of a franchise quarterback that could be your quarterback for his whole career and not fall off at any point, I think that's why we saw a decrease in his playing ability throughout the year. To start it off, we thought he was an MVP candidate, but then none of us really realized the kind of pressure that he's under nonstop. When you go back and you look at those games, he's under pressure nonstop. He has high school JV offensive linemen blocking for him. Doesn't.
So I'm surprised Russell Wilson doesn't look like Flat Stanley. Oh God, he does though.
He should look like that weed commercial that we we had growing up. The one where that chick's all in the couch.
Yeah. I'm pissed. That chick's all on the couch. I literally played it back in my head. She's like,
yeah.
Oh shit. But no, I agree with that. You said it has a lot to do with probably why his play throughout the season kind of downplayed itself from week 1 to week 16, where he was an MVP candidate, to not even, scratching the MVP candidate topic. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that. Jello, I'll swing it over to you, man. Russell Wilson's personal team around him, meaning his financial advisor, his manager, stuff like that, is upset with the Seahawks for not drafting a better O-line in the past. What do you think about this? Do you agree with it? If you're on Russell Wilson's personal team, would you be upset? What's your mindset on it?
Yeah, I mean, Wilson said it himself that they haven't been protecting him, which they haven't been. I mean, he got drafted in 2012. So you leave that 9 years with 394 sacks. That's insane. And it shouldn't be happening. And look what popped up with one of their offensive linemen this offseason, what he was doing. It seems like they draft all these guys. They're more focused outside of football than they are on the game. And they're not protecting them. And they're not. I mean, that's why all these offensive linemen keep going to different teams at that point. Because, 1, they suck. 2, they need to go on a worse team where they can start still. So that's all I really got to say. They haven't drafted offensive linemen. They keep drafting tight ends and receivers, which I think is a good thing. But if you're not protecting the guy throwing it to him, you're going to lose him. And then what are you going to do at that point? So, I mean, their backup is oh man, what's his name?
Is it the black dude out of TCU?
Yeah, he used to be a starter. I thought EJ Manuel, or is it Manuel, or is it somebody else?
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about. He's kind of good.
Wilson, if he wants to leave, that's what you have at that point, and that's no hate against him, but they can't lose Russell. But you've been on this team for how long? You did win a championship, but since then, what has been accomplished? I get why he's upset. So I wouldn't be surprised if he moved on too. Why not? And you guys in the chat got to learn how to spell Russell. This is throwing me off hardcore.
I was about to say, now you're making. Did I spell it right?
Yeah, you spelled it right.
Okay, I was about to say, now you're making me think I spelled it wrong. What the fuck? Little J6, of course, he said if Russell wants another ring, he would come to the Big Easy. Russell has as many rings as your franchise. Russell has as many rings by himself as your whole franchise does. He can't win another ring because y'all can't win another ring.
Sheesh.
It's just what facts. He said it's not Manuel. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna look it up or whatever because I know who you're talking about.
Cardale Jones, or
it's something like that, dude. He's kind of decent.
There's one, and I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh, Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, that's who it is. Yeah, Geno Smith is decent. He reminds me of like a Tyrod Taylor type of player. Like he can start, but he's better as a backup. You know what I'm saying?
Jets, so we'll
Exactly. But Russell Wilson's personal team around him is upset for the Seahawks not drafting an O-line in the past, or a better O-line in the past. Do I agree? What do I think on this whole thing? I'm going to be bold here and say it has nothing to do with Russell Wilson. And yes, the sacks and the stats prove that's a fact. You know what I mean? He's got sacked the most out of any quarterback since he's been drafted. His O-lineman has not been focused on football. One beat his wife almost to death a couple weeks ago. So like you said, Jello, their mindset's not really on the game. But I think this whole situation is brought by his wife. His wife is Sierra, the professional singer. Realistically, you can't do much with business and singing and in movies and stuff like that in Seattle. And yes, it's close to LA. And yes, Seattle is a bigger place than, let's say, like Wisconsin or something like that. You can do more there than you can in Wisconsin. But I personally think that it has everything to do with his wife. I truly do.
There's actually a lot of music in Seattle. There's a lot of recording studios. It's a music city.
I'm just saying, compared to like LA or Miami, Florida, or New York City or something like that, I think her career is, I'm not going to say at the pinnacle, but I don't think she's at the bottom of her career. I think she can still make good music and do whatever she has to do with movies or whatever. And I think it has a lot to do with her. You know what I mean? I think she doesn't want to be in Seattle anymore. And that has a lot to do with what the fuck Russell is doing. And if Russell was in Seattle, she can't go nowhere. You know what I mean? But I think and this goes back to a couple years ago when he was supposedly requesting a trade and wanted to be a free agent and wanted more money and stuff like that. And they ended up paying him. Sierra, the top two candidates for Russell Wilson were the Miami Dolphins, being in Miami, Florida, and the New York Giants, being in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? That one of the two biggest places for business stuff like that. I think that has a lot to do with it. And I guess we'll find out and see if that's the real reason, whether they trade him or not, or even if they do trade him or release him, where he goes. You know what I'm saying? Because I could sound like a complete idiot if he goes somewhere like the Bengals or something like that, where literally he's not making his career or her career any better. But if he goes to, let's say, the Dolphins or the Giants or something like that, I think it has everything to do with his wife and nothing to do with him. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't necessarily think I honestly do think the Dolphins and the Giants have a better O-line than Seattle, but I don't necessarily think their team is much better than Seattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said, based off what you're saying right now is, I think I said this last night to you, but he's basically pulling a Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony's wife didn't want to live in Denver anymore, so she took his ass to New York, and he started putting buckets up there, you know? So basically, he's one of those situations where he's letting his wife dictate where he plays.
Yeah. It could never be me. You know what I mean? It can never be a lot of players, but a lot of players are like, you know, my wife's career, my career, I've made money. She makes just about as good of money as me.
She's worried about him going back to, or he's worried about her going back to Future.
But we're going back to Future. Hell no, that boy got like 9 kids with 9 different baby mothers. She literally has a son named Baby Future, and Russell Wilson is his dad. Like, it's weird. Like, it's Future's kid, obviously, but Russell Wilson's been there since like 6 months old, and the kid's like 9 now and shit. So like he's been his dad his whole life. But yeah, I agree with that. Big Easy has everything. New Orleans is the best place for his family. Little J6 says, Justin said, and she's gonna go get the bag wherever she's at. That's what I'm saying though, is like Tony said, Seattle is not a bad place for music. So me personally, I wouldn't want to leave. You got DK, you got a defense that's pretty decent. Okay, let me shut up and not say that. Their defense is not good. But still, it's like that receiving core you have between DK and Tyler Lockett. Why would you want to leave that for someone like Miami who has no receivers? Or someone like the Giants who has Sterling Shepard? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a hit or miss.
I mean, saying Miami has no receivers is pretty drastic.
Who are you gonna say,
They
Parker?
have some great receivers.
Yes.
I
think Gillespie is the best receiver they have, and he's a tight end.
Okay, well now we can name 2.
Preston Williams, very good. When he wasn't hurt, Myles Gaskin wasn't bad out of the backfield catching the ball. You have what's his name? He's from the Bears.
Be honest here, though. If you guys were Russell Wilson, would you rather play on a Seattle team or a Miami team? Let's be real. Me personally, I would pick Miami. I would pick Miami just because of their record.
I would take Miami because of the defense. Exactly. I'm taking Miami because of the defense.
I would take Miami just because of their fight. Like, they went like, what, 11-5 or 10-6, something like that. They had a decent record.
Yeah.
That record did better than Seattle's.
You're doing Miami a favor by going and solving. You're doing Miami a favor by going and solving the whole quarterback issue.
That's facts.
Just it's easy.
It's an easier problem fix than trading for Deshaun Watson there too.
Absolutely.
I agree. That being all said, with what I said and what you guys said, I personally would choose Miami over Seattle. I'm not saying it's a bad move for him and his career. I don't think it's a bad move, but I just personally think it has nothing to do with the team around him. I think it has everything to do with his wife next to him. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Before we move on, can anybody look up this 4-team trade that's pending right now that would send Russell Wilson to the Jets?
Fuck, I seen something like that. I gotta check and see if I can find it. Yeah, Nick Wright came up with this observation where it was like a 4-team trade where like Jimmy Garoppolo left, someone went to San Fran, someone went somewhere where they sent Sam. Like it was like a basketball trade type of deal. You know what I mean? But it included like Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson, Tua. I'm pretty sure like it was a big 4-team or a 4-team trade, but I just don't necessarily know if that's possible in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's definitely possible. It's literally all the trades that these people are sending this person there. You could do 10 teams at that point, and I don't think there'd be issues with it at that point. So
I agree. Me saying
don't
that is
see it a
personally
lot.
like I just have never seen something like that. So it would be so shocking to me to see something like that, especially with so many like name brand players included in it. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's just moving of these big quarterbacks that the team thinks they can use in a better situation. Because I'm guessing that means Russell to the Jets, Darnold to the 49ers, and then Tua to the Seahawks, Garoppolo to the Dolphins. That's my guess.
It literally was something exactly like that too. It was a decent
That's
trade
my
for
guess. I
all
haven't seen
parties
it, but
involved.
I'm just saying what team could use it better because you have Tua with DK and Lockett. You got better there. Russell with the Jets, and then you draft some big linemen and keep your pick, like Penei Sewell, or you get receivers, stuff like that. You're set there. Then you send, Darnold to the 49ers would be great for Darnold's career because everyone keeps hating on him, but I still think he's a good quarterback. And Jimmy G to Miami. Where
That being said, I would take Sam Darnold before I take Tua.
Depending on so this is my thing. I like both of them. Darnold is a very solid quarterback. He was in college, but he was on the Jets with no line, no receivers, nothing. So
That's what I'm saying. I like Darnold, though. I like his play.
And we'll see a whole different him, just like we saw with Baker this year. People kept hating on him, and look what he did. Same with Tua going to the Seahawks, for example. They have to work on the offensive line, of course, but Tua can get out of that pocket. Same thing happened in Miami, but Miami's line is worse, in my opinion. But he's got receivers who can truly catch the ball. They don't get hurt. So, I mean, that'd be crazy if that happens. That would really shake up the NFL right now because that would just cut down on what big quarterbacks are left to go to other teams. So
facts. And then there's really only 4 or 5 good rookie quarterbacks that can be franchise quarterbacks, too.
Does that automatically mean – so if this happens, I'm kind of hyped now because would Watson just go to Denver then?
Yeah,
that's possible because there's no other teams that would want him, and Denver's the only team that needs a quarterback that has nothing to do with that 4-person trade.
I didn't want to say it. I did not want to say it. I did not.
And personally, even being on that Denver Deshaun Watson, I think that's where he's going regardless.
And I know the Texans said they're not trading him, but Von Miller's going to be included in this trade. We all know that. We cut AJ Bouye, so he's out on that trade. But Von Miller is going to be included in this trade if it does happen. We have things we can give up. Deshaun Hamilton, we got another defensive starter we're willing to give up at this point. So it's
that being said, isn't Von Miller, didn't he play college in Texas, and isn't he from Texas?
Yeah, he played at Texas A&M. Yeah, he literally got his college degree in chicken farming. We'll just say that. That's literally his college degree.
No, you don't ask questions.
Devin White, country boy, head ass.
But no, so the big thing is not only with everything that popped up in the news, but if he doesn't restructure his contract, he's going to want that $19.5 million a year, which is he's getting right now. That's his contract from the Super Bowl he was still on. So if he doesn't do that, we can move him to Houston, which just lost J.J. Watt, is willing to pay for a player like Miller. Miller's in Texas.
Yes.
I know it's all like conspiracy theory, but it works.
Yes, and we have $33.5 million in cap space as of yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, because you guys were releasing people and doing other contracts and stuff like that.
11, yes. So
I like Bouye in Dallas too. I don't think he's a good fit in Denver. He's a good corner. It's just that defensive scheme.
Hurt and then got caught with PEDs.
Yeah, PEDs. See, you know how I feel about PEDs, man. Will Fuller cannot come to Dallas. I don't want to see him, but I want to see AJ Bouye in Dallas. We'll give you PEDs. Swear, come on down.
Jerry Jones uses them. He'll just share.
Well, that's how
the thing about him is he was getting burnt this year, so y'all can have him. AJ Bouye got burnt multiple times that I can recall.
Any cornerback in the NFL is better than the cornerbacks we have in Dallas. I'm going to be fucking honest. Our cornerbacks are so bad.
But
so bad.
Did you see there's that Eagles-Bears trade they're talking about? You guys see what's popping off with that?
Is it Carson Wentz?
Yeah, so it's Nick Foles, Tariq Cohen, and their first-round pick for Carson Wentz and the Eagles' second-round pick.
I seen also another rumor about Carson Wentz. It was
the Colts.
It was like Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz to the Colts for something. They don't necessarily have like players to offer, but they have. I'm pretty sure a draft pick or two.
So Jacoby Brissett's not included in it. You have Jacob Eason coming out of Washington, who was also in Georgia. So he was at Georgia before Jake Fromm got there. Jacob Eason's a solid quarterback. I mean, he's a very, very good quarterback. So
Oregon smacked his ass all 4 years. Oh, okay, he was only there for like 2, I believe. But yeah, we smacked the shit out of him. But yeah, he's a good quarterback. I like him.
So, I want to ask one question to Jello. Jello, do you know the name of the cornerback that's doing the recruiting for us for Deshaun Watson? There's a defensive. He's either a safety or a quarterback.
Oh no, it's Kareem Jackson. He played with Watson on the Texans.
Yes, give that man a raise if he gets Watson to the Broncos. Make him GM. Don't care. Push Patton out.
But look at the GM pick we got. We got probably the best GM in the last 20 years.
George Patton.
While with the Vikings, he drafted 24 Pro Bowlers.
Yes.
And his name is George Patton. I think he's a badass. Like, we make some good decisions, and then we could get Watson. And the allure of the receivers we have, we're probably one of the best receiving drafting teams. Not really quarterbacks, but receivers and running backs. Yeah. We've done very well.
And talking on that whole GM, like best GMs thing, that being said, how he's drafted 24 Pro Bowlers is ridiculous. That's going to be a benefit for you guys. And that's the same thing with like the Lions. They just hired a new GM up in Detroit. He was like the recruiting executive for all college football, like last year. So he literally knows the kids that are in like senior year in high school who he's going to draft in like 5 years. He already knows how they play, all that shit. Benefit for them. You guys as GM drafted 24 Pro Bowlers. Benefit for y'all. I'm telling you, it all starts. A team is not built with Tom Brady and a bad coach and a bad GM. I'm not saying that Bill Belichick is the greatest coach. I'm not saying Robert Kraft is the greatest coach, but you have to have a whole team around you. You know what I mean? You have to have a whole team, and it starts with the GM. It starts with the coach, and I'm telling you, Denver's best move this offseason was John Elway stepping down. Yeah, him stepping down and being like, yo, he pulled a fucking Magic Johnson and was like, I still want to be involved, but I just don't want to be fucking in charge no more. Fuck that.
I called that literally 2 weeks before that happened. I said we need him to get fired, step down, step up, get out of that position. So thank freaking God.
I agree with that. It's going to be an intense offseason with all these quarterback moves, and hopefully that 4-team trade happens.
That would be legit. That would be just nuts.
I would love it, bro.
That would set Denver up so well. All right, let's
love
move
it.
on.
You guys aren't going to like this one, but I am. Actually, no, I'm not. The Dallas Cowboys team makes a hype video for 2021 without Dak Prescott in it, man. It was stupid. Check it out. I think I actually have it right.
He's freezing. Eric, you're about to get lagged out.
Hold on.
Oh, Andy gone.
Yeah. So, anyway, they made a video without Dak Prescott, and Twitter blew it up like Twitter does. Twitter blew that up.
God damn it. You guys were right. I was about to lag out. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. This is the hype video.
A team built on tradition. That tradition laced tenacity in our fibers. That means ignore the critics, embrace the love. But most importantly, in order to win, we have to work. Let's go.
Don't get me hype on that video, boy. That video got me turned up. Hold the fuck on, damn it.
Yeah, he's gone.
There we go.
Yeah, nah.
Yo, you see what's going on?
I mean, I'd be
right
pissed.
now? This is great.
No, my internet's down. Read it to me.
Oh, they're going off about the Saints and everybody. They're just talking crap. And Lil J won't answer my question about how long ago the Saints Super Bowl was. I just had to throw that out there. So,
Jesus. Getting back on it. But the Dallas Cowboys team makes a hype video for the 2021 season without Dak Prescott in it. So my question to you, Tony, is why? Why did they do that? Do you think they ran it past Jerry Jones, or do you think it was just what happened? And I do want to bring this up before you get started on it. That video was posted. The Washington Redskins social media group is the one that brought it up that Dak Prescott wasn't in there. So they knew it, stirring the pot, which is smart for a rival team. Dak Prescott followed the Redskins the day after that. Like the Redskins brought it up. Dak Prescott follows Redskins. Dak Prescott's brother has been going off on Twitter for the last 2 years about Dallas doesn't treat Dak right and yada, yada, yada. So my question to you, Tony, is why did they do this? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think anything is going to change? What's your take on it?
First of all, don't ever show Jerry Jones on my screen again. My phone will break.
That's my boy,
Second
man.
of all, yeah, my phone's going to crash if you do that again. Second of all, I think – I don't know. That's a tricky situation, man. I think the reason they did it is because he didn't play last year very much, so they just used film, and they don't want to hype the fans up by saying that he's staying necessarily because they don't know. They're iffy about it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think moving him would be a smart pick or smart choice for them because you can get a lot in return for him, even with his bionic leg that he has now. You could still get a lot for Dak Prescott. He's a great quarterback. He was leading the league in passing yards for I think 2 weeks after.
It was like 5 or 6. He still led over people.
Yeah,
that boy had 760 yards in the first 4 games. He was going stupid. Yeah, but it was fucking stupid. Justin said the Redskins want Mariota, which I could see happening, but is that a smart move for them?
No,
I don't know.
Sorry, fellas. I'm talking to my roommate about the Wi-Fi right now.
You good? But Joe, I agree with that. The Redskins do want Dak. They're fighting for him. They have been fighting for him for the last couple years. They just want to stir the pot. So eventually Dak's like, you know what? This team has at least stirred the pot for me. I'm going to go here where I know they'll fight for me. Shit like that. Because Jerry Jones, he said last year, he's like, I don't get hand cramps when writing checks. You do when you're writing checks to Dak Prescott, homie. Yeah. Or he would have had a check in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? And that being said, Dak Prescott, like Tony said, he led the league in passing while he was there. And then even after he broke his ankle or whatever, he led over certain quarterbacks, certain good quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, who's not necessarily a passer, but he is still an NFL quarterback. He led over Lamar Jackson for about 6 weeks after that. You know what I mean? It took him 6 weeks to catch up to Dak in the first 4. Type of deal. So I don't know, man. It's interesting, but I do agree with Tony. Tony and Jason said it in the chat that maybe it was just they were taking film from this year. Dak didn't play much, so they didn't have much film of him to put in there. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that way. I hope it's that way. But it could be interesting. Jello, swinging it up to you, bro. The Dallas Cowboys team makes a hype video for the 2021 season without Dak Prescott in it. So the question is why, bro? Why do you think they did this? Do you think it has a specific reason to do with Dak, or do you think it was just what happened, what played out?
So, I mean, this whole hype video, too, one, Dak could have asked to not be in it at that point. But who knows? I mean, there's been issues before, and maybe he's starting to find out. I mean, he's really after that bag for sure. So maybe that's just what it is. He's ready to go because they still haven't signed him. If he thinks he can get money from another team at that point, so he's just willing to do that. So don't put me in the video when I'm not going to be here in 2 months. But once again, we won't know till it happens. So it's all speculation.
I feel it. It's being a Dallas fan. It sucks because I know, and everyone as a Dallas fan knows that Dak Prescott maybe should not be the highest paid quarterback in NFL and shit like that. I don't think he's better than Deshaun Watson type of deal. But what he's done for our franchise in the last 4, 5, 6 years is completely different level than what Tony Romo did for us. You know what I mean? So it's when that happened, when we drafted Dak and Zeke, everyone as a Dallas fan was scared. Fuck, man, we're restarting, we're rebuilding. That year we went 13-3, made playoffs, stuff like that. So it was just a completely different gear switch. So having to think about maybe doing that again sucks. And you guys are going through it right now. You guys have had no quarterback really that is worth shit since Peyton Manning. You guys are finally at that chance where you might get a really decent franchise quarterback that could change your guys' whole franchise, and you guys know it. So that's what I said with Dak. Once I knew we drafted a different quarterback and Tony Romo went down, I was like, okay, the team's about to change, whether it's good or bad. Hopefully it's going to be good, but I know the team is going to change. That's the same situation you guys are in right now. You guys know the team is going to change regardless, whether it's good or bad. Something different is going to happen in Denver. And it sucks, low-key. It's exciting, but it sucks because you don't know. Then that's one thing that me as a Dallas fan does not want to go through again in the past 5, 6 years. I wish the NFL gave quarterbacks more of an opportunity like they used to. You know what I'm saying? The whole Sam Darnold situation. calling him ass. Yeah, he's been there for 3-4 years, but he's not a bad quarterback. He hasn't had an opportunity. Give him an opportunity somewhere he can go. Josh Rosen. I don't think Josh Rosen was a very great quarterback, but he didn't get a chance in Arizona. He didn't get a chance in Miami, and now he's a backup for like the 49ers. You know what I mean? Like, he never really got a shot, but he has starter potential. So
and
it
they
sucks.
re-signed him too, so
yeah, bro. It's weird. It's weird being in this situation as a fan of a team who is either going through quarterback problems or has potential to get a really good quarterback, or maybe even a really bad quarterback. Because say you guys drafted or traded for Carson Wentz, I'd be dying laughing at y'all. I'd be dying laughing at every Broncos
I'm
fan.
gonna let you know right now, if we for some freaking reason trade for that man, I will stop the sports podcast. I will switch teams. I'll change my name. I will. It'd be over. I will not be a happy man at all.
But that's what I'm saying. Being in the situation that you guys and I am in with the whole quarterback situation, it fucking sucks. Like, can we just have a can we sign Dak to a 10-year deal so I know I'm cool for the next 10 years? Like, can we do something like that? Can Denver sign Deshaun Watson to a 7-year, $85 million deal so you guys are good for the next 7-8 years? Don't got to worry about quarterback problems.
Would love that.
I'm saying it's much easier to worry about getting a defensive end or a linebacker or a head coach or something like that than it is getting a quarterback. Like, this shit sucks, bro. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think they ran it by Jerry Jones with this whole video thing, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the upcoming future. Next couple months is when all that shit happens. A lot of people think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to franchise tag Dak again. But the thing about that is this is Dak's 2nd or 3rd year being franchise tag. He has to agree to it. And if he doesn't agree to it, bye. You know what I'm saying? What do you got to say on that, Jello?
All right, so I was going to throw this out there too because I forgot about it. There's speculation that Andrew Luck will be coming back into the NFL as well, so we got to start looking at that too on what the possibilities are there.
I'm going to go ahead and read. Justin actually sent me Andrew Luck's retirement message that he tweeted back in like 20 whatever. The funniest shit I've ever read, bro. He tweeted it. It was like September 25th, 2019. So it actually wasn't that long ago. I forgot he really hasn't been out of the league that long. He said, "Dearest mother, the quill has never felt more heavy. I have made the decision to holster my sidearm permanently. I shall battle no more. The decision is difficult, but as the Hogs taught me, I must be true to myself. I am coming home to care for you in the farm. Andrew." Tell me that wasn't like the most country-ass retirement message ever. That message as his retirement, there's no fucking way he's coming out of retirement. I would love to see it because he's a great quarterback. But, bro, if you write something that fucking deep, if you tweet something that deep as your retirement message, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. But I do agree with you. There has been a lot of speculation and a lot of rumors of him coming out. I actually think there was like a viral tweet of his wife's text messages or something that broke the internet that's saying that like he wants to come back and that he might come back and that if he comes back, he wants to play for the Colts and stuff like that. But who knows, bro? That's a great topic to bring up too because that could happen. That could fucking happen. Let's go on to this next one real quick. Stop talking about the Cowboys and such. Back on it, man. The Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, man. Where will we end up? Denver or San Fran, and at what cost? So both you guys think he's going to end up in Denver. I think he's going to end up in Denver. So that's not necessarily the question anymore. The question is, at what cost? What do you guys give up for him? Is it honestly too much for the Denver Broncos to be good for the future? Do you guys give up your future draft picks? Do you guys give up a big part of your defense / O-line? Like you said, Von Miller is probably going to be included in that trade if it happens. That's a big part of your pass rush. So, Tony, we'll start with you. The Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. We all think he's going to end up in Denver, but the question is, at what cost? Do you think maybe giving up a draft pick or Von Miller might be too much for Denver to get Deshaun Watson?
Well, first of all, get Von Miller the hell out of here. I don't. We talked about this before. He's the issues with. Did we ever figure out what Von Miller got arrested for?
No, it didn't come viral or nothing. I looked into that.
I'm guessing there's court proceedings, so they can't announce anything yet. So it'll be once it's all over.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Well, my assumption is that he beat his girlfriend because he got her pregnant, and I don't want anything to do with that. Lil J6 says Locke and Miller are gone with some draft picks. Yes, my internet's back up, boys. So I'm in the chat. Yes, Locke and Miller are gone for sure. I think we got to get rid of that number 9 pick this year, which I'm perfectly comfortable of doing. And honestly, maybe another low budget defensive player. It's going to take a lot, but I think it's all going to be worth it. Jello doesn't agree. I saw Jello's hand go like this.
So this is the crazy part about it. It's going to be more than that. Let's be realistic here. How much they want? They want to. I'm guessing it's going to be 4 or 5 draft picks. Von Miller, Drew Lock, probably a receiver, someone like Deshaun Hamilton, and one other player. Like they said Deshaun Watson's trade is going to be the biggest trade ever in the NFL. And the Broncos are going to give up a ton for it. We drafted both receivers, running backs. We have extra defensive players. The Broncos, this would be the one time they give up everything, and it's not a dumb move. We've given up a lot before. So,
in my opinion, if we have KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Deshaun Watson has weapons.
Courtland Sutton
is going to come back from injury. Hopefully, he comes back just as good as he was.
That's the best receiver you guys have on your team when healthy. Yeah. Courtland Sutton. He's a fucking animal.
He is. But my thing is that when he comes back, their defense is going to be able to just play him. They know how he plays. He's not going to make any adjustments from what he was doing because it was working. That opens up Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler to not be guarded by the top 1 and 2 cornerbacks on the field. KJ Hamler had an explosive year out of nowhere. He was a steal in the draft. That man is shifty. He's fast. He runs routes clean. He does what he's supposed to do. Jerry Jeudy even admitted that KJ Hamler's faster than him. I'm a big KJ Hamler fan. I'm probably going to buy a KJ Hamler jersey just because I love the way that he exploded onto the field.
That being said, since I know you're a huge KJ Hamler fan, I know a lot about KJ Hamler because he has a documentary about him. I'll send it to you.
Please do. I'll watch it today.
I got you. It's like 45, 50 minutes too, so it's not going to take up your whole day, but it's really fucking dope. That's how I got to know fucking Devin White. They have those little pre-draft documentaries about him, and they're really fucking cool, bro.
Hell yeah.
Really fucking cool. That being said, like, I just want to bring this up before I let you finish. You're talking about how if they lock Courtland Sutton down, it's going to open up your other basically 2 number 1 receivers. That's the same problem we have. That's the same thing we have going in Dallas. You got to walk Amari Cooper up, which opens up Michael Gallup, which opens up CeeDee Lamb, which opens up Zeke in the running game. That shit works when you got more than 1 receiver that are number 1 receivers.
Yeah, and now we just need a quarterback here that can get this guy the ball. And we got to work on our offensive line. Our offensive line is subpar. Our left tackle's great. He went from 952 holding penalties in 1 year to – that's an exaggeration, by the way, for anybody that's going to call me out on that. But to being one of the best left tackles in the league. So now we have a blindside tackle for Watson. So we just got to build for that if we're going to make that trade. We got to go hire some big country boys that just move hay all day and put them on the line and tell them to block somebody. So I'm excited. This year's going to be good if we can pull that off.
Right.
I just figured out the weirdest thing. Okay, so I probably shouldn't bring this up on chat, but I'm going to because it was funny. Justin out of nowhere typed sucking dick on the chat, right? So I read it and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking take this off. He texted me personally right now and goes, that's what Von Miller got arrested for. I was like, oh, I had no clue what he was talking about, but now I'm like, oh. Oh, shit. But yeah, sorry for all the kids watching. It's not rated. This is rated R, but the show is usually rated G.
18 and up. This is 18 and up.
18 and up, unless you're really into, vulgar language. But
yeah, and unless we have you on the team.
Yeah, on God. Yeah, unless you're underage on the team, don't listen to him. But like you guys said, bro, Deshaun Watson, Tony says they have stuff to give up for him. They're gonna give up some stuff for him, and it's not gonna hurt the team. Jello said this will be the number 1 or the first time in NFL history where you give up a bunch and it's not considered a stupid trade. You know what I mean? Because even the whole Jared Goff, Matt Stafford trade, a lot of people consider that a really good trade, and they got rid of Matt Stafford, or they got rid of Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks, and a third round, and that's for Stafford. So imagine the people who get Deshaun Watson, who's 10 times better than Stafford, who's about 12 years younger than Stafford, bro, you're gonna give up a lot.
So-
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and another thing is Elway said that he's giving George Patton 100% of his confidence. He can make any move that he wants. Elway said he's there if he wants to talk about it, but George Patton has full control to make whatever move he wants to.
That is the smartest decision. That is literally what John Elway needed to do, was stepping
Yes.
down. Like when you step down, you step the fuck down.
Well, he stepped technically up.
But that's what I'm saying though. He went from
Yeah.
making every draft / roster decision to kind of just seeing what you do with it. I'm gonna judge you with it. I'm gonna see
Yeah.
what you do with it, and if it's right, I'm gonna take credit. If it's wrong, fuck that. I'm coming back in here and I'm gonna fucking take control. You know what I mean? But fucking him giving your guys' GM full control, knowing what that GM has done for the Minnesota Vikings or whatever the team he used to be GM of, crazy, bro. I fully respect that. It's a great thing. Great fucking choice. Great choice. But let's get right into the other topics. This one, not as exciting, but it is interesting. Adrian Peterson tells Tampa to sign him after the Super Bowl parade. He came out with a tweet / Instagram post and kind of said that I want to play. I have legs that I can run with, but I want to play for a team who I know I can win a ring with, aka Tampa Bay. My question to you, we'll start with you, Jello, is if you were Bruce Arians, having Lombardi, Leonard Fournette, that's what they call him now, is Lombardi Lenny. He ran hard in the Super Bowl. He could have easily won Super Bowl MVP, and no one blinked twice about it. You got I don't necessarily know if he'll be there next year. I think he actually announced his retirement, but LaShawn McCoy, you got Ronald Jones. Like, you have a bunch of weapons already there at that running back spot, and you're not a running team. If you were a coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are you signing Adrian Peterson?
I mean, why not? If you take a veteran, if he takes the veterans minimum at that point, that's $850,000, I think, something like that, for the year. So, I mean, money's not an issue there. It's, are you going to be able to use them at that point? Because you do have Fournette, you have Jones, but Peterson's still that run heavy. I'll get it into the end zone. That's why he had a lot of 50-yard rush games with 2 touchdowns. So maybe they'll find a way to use them. And if you're paying him low, why not at that point? I mean, I would.
That's my biggest thing with it, is for the right price, why not?
Exactly.
Why not? Especially with like the cap lowering because of the whole COVID thing with the NFL and stuff. If you can fucking sign a running back who has legs, who you know has a good track record, and who doesn't want to break the bank in Tampa, sign him. You know, even if he is only a third down back, you don't necessarily need a third down back with Leonard Fournette, but if you want to give him a break on third downs, you can put Adrian Peterson in. You can put Ronald Jones in. And that's even depending on who you have starting. You could start either 3 of those. You know what I mean? It's a crazy duo that they could have there in Tampa Bay. Tony, coming to you, man. Adrian Peterson tells Tampa Bay to sign him after the Super Bowl parade. If you were Bruce Arians, coach Tampa Bay, with all the running backs and stuff that they already have, with the ring under your belt, would you sign Adrian Peterson?
Yes. Just as like, I mean, obviously he's not going to be able to ask for like money, but I mean, if he's willing to sign a low budget contract, sign him, get him a ring. That man he was growing up, he was a monster when I was a kid. That was unheard of to me.
He was ridiculous. He was fucking ridiculous. Like I just told Jello, I agree with you guys on that. For the right price, he's definitely on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year. Even if it is just for a third down back, even if it is just for attention, Adrian Peterson, I believe, will be on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year for the right price.
Let him take Shady McCoy's spot.
Yeah, I was about to say, Shady McCoy just announced his retirement, so that would be the perfect veteran to, kind of lead that locker room / be in there on certain plays that you can see him in there on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and he can do the same thing that Shady McCoy did, win 2 Super Bowls and not do anything.
Exactly. Just sit on the bench, be close with Andy Reid and Bruce Arians, and get 2 rings.
Exactly.
On God, bro. But yeah, I agree on that. And we do have some breaking news. I'm just going to bring this up because I just got it. The daughter of the Lombardi Trophy, Silversmith, wants an apology from Tom Brady for throwing the trophy from boat to boat. So the person who made the trophy, the Silversmith, his daughter wants an apology from Tom Brady. She said it was absolutely outrageous how he's throwing her father's prized possession, his finest work across the boat. Do you guys think that is even necessary? My opinion on it is, who the fuck are you, lady? Who the fuck is it? I don't care who even built the thing. If it's not Lombardi or his daughter, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I mean, so my thing about it is I think it's an attention thing. And, you know, here on the podcast, we don't really sugarcoat things. But this is an attention thing. She's looking to get attention when social media is the biggest thing right now. Everybody's stuck in their house, or not necessarily stuck in the house. We're not on lockdown anymore, but, you know, there's limited things to do. So people are on social media. She's trying to cause drama. She's trying to get attention. She's trying to get some money out of it. She wants an apology. She wants to get different business things from this attention. It's just attention, and if everybody's gonna give it to her and hype it up like the media is gonna do until Tom Brady gives her an apology, she's gonna get what she wants. So I don't want to hype it up. I don't want to talk about this on next week's episode either, you know.
I agree. My thing personally is if you wanted attention, do it like it's turning something negative into something positive is what I think she should have did. She should have came out with like a new profile picture for her and her father's company of literally the trophy flying through the air. Yeah. Like turn the negative into a positive. Don't take it as they're disrespecting my family. Take it as like we did that. Tom Brady did that with our trophy. You know what I mean? Like I would have flipped the whole script around on it. Jello, coming to you with this one. The daughter of the Lombardi Trophy, Silversmith, wants an apology from Tom Brady. Do you think this is even necessary? What do you think on it?
I feel like it is. So this is the biggest thing behind it. I get it's their trophy. They can do what they want with it. But for her, more than anything, it's kind of taking your life's work, for example, and people just it doesn't mean anything. Because you got to imagine how much time goes into that trophy and stuff like that, and how much work goes into it. And these guys, I just throw it around like it's nothing. And to them, it means more because they worked their entire lives to get in this position to make this. They spend a lot of time on it. So I'm guessing that's why I don't think it's for money, because they're making these trophies. They're a silversmith. They're definitely not struggling there. And I can see where it's disrespectful to her family at that point, just due to the fact that it's your dad's life's work into these trophies, and these guys would have dropped it to the bottom of the river like it was nothing. So I see why she said it was disrespectful, because in the end it's, for example, let's say you worked on something your whole year, you finally got to this position where you're able to make these for these people, and you spent all this time making it as good as possible, and these people just say, nah, we'll just eat this thing around left and right. You would feel disrespected at that point, just like you put all this time into it, and these people don't care whatsoever, like the work you put into it. So I see why she's upset there for her father at that point.
See, and you explaining it like that, it gives me a completely understanding of it, because if like we work hard on this podcast, say someone took it and was just shitting on it every chance they got, they didn't give a damn about it, I'd be pissed. I'd feel disrespected. I'd be mad as hell. So you explaining it like that, I can't understand it, but I can also agree with Tony that it's a publicity thing. And she's trying to get some clout from it, and it's working. It's gonna work because of the way social media and stuff works. But I don't know. Gronk dented the trophy a couple years ago. Yeah, she was probably pissed. I'd be mad as fuck.
About it on social media.
That's facts.
Did you?
You
didn't. This didn't get blown up.
I did hear about it, but because it was Gronk, it's like he likes to party. It's not a big thing, but because it's Tom Brady going from New England down to Tampa, throwing the trophy and stuff like that. But like you said, Jello, I can completely understand why she feels disrespected after hearing it like that. You know what I mean? Because I'd be pissed too.
Right. Well, and even that first time, for example, she could have probably wanted to say something, and then she was just like, nah, maybe that was an accident, for example. Because I forget how it was, if he dropped it or what it was or something like that. But there's the aspect of that where
I think he hit a baseball with it.
It was no damn accident at that point, or whatever it was. But at the same time, she could have wanted to speak out, but she's like, maybe I should hold back. And then it happens again with these same players, and it's just like, all right, I gotta say something. So, and I'm not saying you guys are wrong either, but I get.
No, yeah, you are. I'm tired of you arguing with me, but.
He's like, shut up. She's wrong. I'll just fuck with you, man. Let's get into this next topic, and I'm actually really interested to hear your guys' topic or things on this and what we have to say on this. Aaron Donald wins defensive MVP over TJ Watt. And let me go ahead and show you guys this. So we're going to call it the Donald versus Watt battle. This is their stats, man. So for TJ Watt, 53 tackles compared to Aaron Donald's 41. 15 sacks compared to Aaron Donald's 13.5. 23 tackles for loss compared to Aaron Donald's 12. 55 pressures compared to Aaron Donald's 42 pressures. 41 quarterback hits compared to Aaron Donald's 26. This next one is the only one Aaron Donald wins in, and it's forced fumbles. He had 4 compared to TJ Watt's 2. Pass defenses, TJ Watt had 7 compared to Aaron Donald's 1. And interceptions, TJ Watt had 1 compared to Aaron Donald's 0 interceptions. So the question to you guys is, Aaron Donald wins defensive MVP over TJ Watt. Was TJ Watt snubbed from this trophy? So Jello, we'll start with you on this one. Do you think, after looking at the stats, after watching this year's gameplay, that TJ Watt was definitely snubbed from this defensive MVP year award?
I mean, yeah, I think he was. Donald's won it now 3 years in a row at that point. But there's a few people that should have won. TJ Watt, you got Xavier Howard, for example, that should have been up there in that talk as well. So I feel like there's more than one person snubbed from this at this point. But this is the thing. Donald's done 3 years in a row now. But the whole speculation is, look at these players and which one was on the team that made it into the playoffs.
Exactly what I'm saying, though.
Got knocked out
early.
Also, TJ Watt played in the first game, but they lost, where the Rams won their first game. I don't know. There's just that weird, you could say it's a conspiracy theory, but maybe that played into it. But I think him, Xavier Howard, and there's somebody else out there whose name I just forgot that I think got snubbed from this, who should have had a big shot at it as well. So
I agree. And like my dad just said, X-Man should have won the MVP hands down. That being said, X-Man is Xavier Howard, the cornerback for the Miami Dolphins, led the league in interceptions this year, had an interception for like 8 games in a row. I think he finished with like 12 or something like that. He definitely could have been up there in that talk, and I didn't hear his name not once. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you and my dad on that Xavier Howard specifically got snubbed from even getting talked about in that award. But I agree with you. TJ Watt got snubbed in that. Tony, swinging it to you. Aaron Donald wins defensive MVP over TJ Watt. So the question to you is, after watching this year's gameplay, after seeing their stats and stuff like that, do you think that TJ Watt was snubbed from this defensive MVP year award?
Yeah, absolutely. I get there's a difference in positions, but that doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, that should help out TJ Watt's case, because he's doing pass defense and he's doing run defense. You know what I mean? So, and if you look at that right there, 2 forced fumbles compared to the 4, that's the only thing. In my opinion, as a defensive lineman, you should have more tackles than an outside linebacker.
Yeah, more tackles for loss, if anything, too. You should be getting through that. You should be the first one through that line. Absolutely.
And the tackles for loss is huge. That's 23-12. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And even gameplay, like if you watched the Rams play compared to watching the Steelers play, both really good teams. I'm not going to say either team was bad. Neither team was bad on the defensive side of the ball. But if you specifically watched Aaron Donald and TJ Watt, and I've been saying this the last 3 years, watching the NFL top 100 players, when Aaron Donald is consistently in the top 3. Yes, he's the best, one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. But is he the best player on any defensive team in the NFL? Absolutely not. And this proves it right here. TJ Watt's stats, his gameplay, all better than Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald's a great player. But the statistics don't lie. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's a sticky situation. I think he got snubbed. The chat think he got snubbed. You guys think he got snubbed along with a couple other players, which I do agree with. It was just a fucked up situation. And I'm starting to see that NFL is kind of becoming more of a college type thing where everything is popularity based. If your name is Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, you're automatically in the Heisman talk. If your name is Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, you're automatically in that MVP talk, no matter what you did. You know what I mean? And Russell Wilson had a great start to the season, laid off of it. TJ Watt had a great season all the way through it, where Aaron Donald started coming through towards the second half of the season. I think he definitely got snubbed, but what can you do about it? You know what I mean? You can't do shit about it. Maybe next year he'll win it. I don't want to see Aaron Donald in the top 5 players in this year's top 100, though. I do not want to see it, and I know I will see it. And it's going to piss me off. I hope not. I really do hope not. I don't think he's a top 5 player. Maybe top 20, but not top 5.
So I think top 5, you're going to hit Mahomes, Derrick Henry, probably Rodgers. Oh man, who else? I'm trying to think of the other players that would pop up in there.
Me too.
I feel like TJ Watt, because this is all voted by the players. So
I agree. Yeah, TJ Watt, I think, will get voted ahead of Aaron Donald, which is why I think it's so fucked up and rigged that he didn't win the defensive MVP year award. And that's what I'm saying. It's becoming more of a popularity thing.
I think Herbert's going to be top 10. Just for the records he broke and everything he did, he's going to be up there. I think we're going to have surprises like Baker's going to be in the top 100. I think Justin Jefferson will break that top 100 as well. Stephon Diggs is going to be much higher than he ever has been. Josh Allen will be in there. I'm trying to think other running backs that would make the case for
Nick Chubb might make it into the top, 25, something like that.
I'm trying to think of any other running backs out there right now that would be in there because you have Henry, Nick Chubb. I can see it most definitely, but I'm trying to think of anybody else that would jump in there, and I can't, not off the top of my head at least. So
yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be an interesting top 100 player, especially when you get down to about the top 20. Yeah, that's when shit's going to start getting really sketchy because you think this player is higher rated than this player. But like Jello said, it's voted on by the players. They play each other. They know each other, how they play. This guy was strong as shit, but this guy made me look stupid the whole game. You know what I mean? Which one are you going to vote higher? You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see. Zylo said Justin Herbert maybe in the top 100. He will. He'll break probably the top. It'll be in the top 50 probably. That boy's cold, bro. He's a generational talent. And speaking of generational talents, let's get into this next topic. Trevor Lawrence's pro day was Friday, I believe. They're not having an NFL combine this year, so pro days are really big for these players. Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, they moved the pro day up way earlier than anyone else's because Trevor Lawrence yesterday had surgery on his throwing arm or throwing shoulder, which is going to take 4 to 5 months to recover from fully. You know what I mean? That's the timeline for the surgery he's going through. So they said, let's go ahead and have you do your pro day. We'll get you seen by these teams. And then the next day you can go have your surgery and chill out for the next 4 to 5 months to heal. You know what I mean? And everyone knows he's going one. Urban Meyer, the new coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, was basically the one tossing him the balls at his pro day to throw him. You know what I mean? So everyone knows where he's going. I don't know. It wasn't anything super big, but watching his pro day was fucking ridiculous. So go ahead and check this out real quick.
Trevor Lawrence having his pro day today. You see him warming up. Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer there watching him warm up. Yeah, that's the guy we're going to take #1 overall. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney also there showing support. Lawrence got a picture with all those receivers before they got going. They started out with some short passes to the sideline, eventually working their way down the field. Some red zone throws, maybe the best one of the day. 60-yard dime. I mean, he just let this thing fly. That's what he does. Here is Trevor Lawrence now talking with our Reese Davis afterward on what he needs to work on.
Every year it's a lot of new things to work on that you kind of notice, and then a lot of the same stuff, footwork, comfortability in the pocket, pocket presence, all that stuff kind of stays the same as far as you need to work on that. But then just, I think mentally, obviously the game's a little bit different at the NFL level and what's on your plate. So just taking this time, especially after surgery, to really prepare mentally while I can't physically, and then once I can physically, really, I'm just going to be grinding and getting ready. So just really excited for that challenge. I love learning. That's one of my favorite parts about the game is it's such a fun thing to learn a new system and to kind of piece everything together. It's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to do that. But I think that's the biggest thing is just mentally, defensive recognition, playbook, all that stuff.
He moved his workout from next month to today because he's going to have surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. ESPN NFL draft expert Todd McShay joining us now from Clemson. Todd, you watched Trevor Lawrence throw this morning. Take us inside the scene of the pro day.
Well, first of all, Jay, the interesting part is that shoulder surgery that he's having and the fact that he moved up his pro day. And the reason he did is because he got a call from Urban Meyer, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously picking it #1 overall, and said, you know what? Because I've been working at Fox as a college analyst, we haven't been able to have our scouting staff and the coaching staff see you live throwing the football. Would you mind throwing the ball, before you have surgery on Tuesday? And he said, yeah, sure. I'm a competitor. I'll go out and do it. And he did it today in really high-end fashion. He missed one throw rolling out to the left. There were a couple throws that fluttered a little bit, but otherwise I thought he was darn near perfect. You watch the red zone area. placing the ball high where only his receiver can get it, some of the throws down the field vertically, and then the timing with receivers. You got to remember, there's only one receiver that he played with last year in Cornell Powell. The other 3 guys that were running routes, he hasn't thrown the ball to. So,
man, so let's get right into it. Hopefully I'm not lagged the hell out. We're about to find out. Okay, we good. But Trevor Lawrence, like I said, so I actually got it wrong. It was on his non-throwing arm, so it's on his left arm, which is still kind of a big deal for quarterbacks that are supposed to go number 1. You guys heard it from him. He moved his pro day up because of Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer wanted him to get that shoulder healed, man. So let's get it done early. You get your shoulder surgery the next day. Let's get you healed before we draft you and before you get into training camp. You know what I mean? So the question to you guys is, Trevor Lawrence's pro day, do you guys think he's a generational talent, man? Do you think he's one that will never be seen in the next 10 years, bro? Jello, we'll start with you. Do you think Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent?
We don't know as of now. And this is the thing. No matter how good you are in college, this is something we talk about in a couple years from now, like with Mahomes. Coming into the league, everybody would have said he's not going to do anything with his career. And now everyone's saying he is that generational talent, being Mahomes. So look at Johnny Manziel, great at Texas A&M, goes to the pros, and look what happens, kind of thing. So we won't know until after at least his first year, like Justin Herbert, for example, what he can do. So I don't want to answer that question now because looking at college, it's a tough thing to say. So I think watch him play his first year and see how that goes, and we'll go from there.
I agree on that. That's a great take. Tony, coming to you on this one, do you think Trevor Lawrence, after his pro day, is a generational talent?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to do big things, especially that not being on his throwing shoulder. That's going to help. I mean, obviously, it's still a big impact because you have the outside motion before you release the ball. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to affect it well. I think he's going to have some good PT people with him. And he's going to come back healthier than ever, and he's going to be just as good as we thought he was going to be.
I agree with that. Is Trevor Lawrence going to be a generational talent? I agree with you on that, Tony. And I also agree with Jello on that. Is like nowadays you can't really base people's careers, NFL careers, off of like their college careers because a lot of the times it doesn't match up. Sam Darnold, for example, he was great at UFC, got drafted to the wrong team, and has been nothing since. You know what I'm saying? So, it could happen to where we don't know, like Jello said, but I agree with you, Tony, from looking at his past 4 years and looking at his pro day, he just seems more advanced than we've seen a lot of quarterbacks in the past. I don't think we'll see another quarterback like him in the next 5-10 years, but I could be completely wrong because these kids nowadays coming up are crazy. They do shit that no one's ever seen. No one expected Pat Mahomes to be Pat Mahomes, and look at him. You know what I mean? So maybe people are like, Trevor Lawrence is going to be great, and he's not shit. Or maybe people are like, Trevor Lawrence is not going to be that good, and he's the best quarterback we've seen since Tom Brady / Peyton Manning. You know, we just don't know. So I'm going to agree with both of you guys on this. I think he'll be a generational talent, but we do not know. So we're going to have to see the way this first, maybe even the second year plays out in Jacksonville. We don't necessarily know if Jacksonville is going to be clicking or good in that first year. Him and Urban Meyer could be on completely different pages, but get it right on that second year, we don't know. So I'm excited to see him play in Jacksonville and see what he does. But like Jello said, it's going to be a kind of wait and see situation for him. You know what I mean? And then we'll get to the last question on Rick T Podcast, Scratching the Surface. Best fit for 2021 quarterbacks. We're just going to go through these few quarterbacks that I've named, and I'm going to ask you guys where you guys think would be the best fit for them. So the quarterbacks that we're going to be talking about are Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jimmy Garoppolo, Cam Newton, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, and Sam Darnold. So just a quick answer. You guys, I'll tell you guys a name. You guys can tell me what team best fits them in your guys' opinion, and then we'll move on. So we'll start with you, Jello. Jacoby Brissett, where do you see him being the best fit next year?
Staying with the Colts.
Okay. Andy Dalton.
Retired.
Wow, I like it. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Anywhere. That man deserved to keep going, but being completely honest, retired.
Yeah, I see. It's kind of like him and Andy Dalton kind of remind me of each other, like better backups, but they could retire and they'd be okay. Yeah. I feel it. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jets.
Okay. Cam Newton.
Retired.
Okay. Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Man.
Lil J6 says the
Bears.
Saints are
I'll go
trying to
Bears.
get Wentz. I like it.
I'll
Yeah,
go
the
Bears.
Bears, I could see him fitting in the Bears system a
I
lot
thought trade was more
better.
plausible.
It really is. Dak Prescott.
Cowboys.
Good. Derek Carr.
Giants.
Ooh, I like that. And Sam Darnold.
Seahawks.
I like that too.
Well, I could go Seahawks or 49ers if that trade actually does happen. Anywhere that actually has receivers and a line that can protect them. So I guess more likely the 49ers.
He just fits very well in the NFC West. I agree with that. Tony, coming to you with these quarterbacks. Where do these quarterbacks best fit in 2021? Jacoby Brissett.
Stay with the Colts.
I agree. Andy Dalton.
Oh. Retired.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Redskins.
Okay. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jets.
Cam Newton.
Backup for the I don't know. He's a backup somewhere. I don't really care.
Okay, I like it. Carson Wentz.
Saints.
Dak Prescott.
Cowboys.
Derek Carr.
Ooh. Raiders.
Sam Darnold.
If he doesn't retire, Niners.
Okay. I like those answers. We'll get to me real quick. Jacoby Brissett, I agree with you guys. I think his best fit is staying at the Colts, whether he's a starter or not. I think that's a good team for him to be in. Andy Dalton, I don't necessarily see Andy Dalton retiring. I think he could and everything be okay, but I just think he's probably one of those players like Ryan Fitzmagic that just doesn't want to give up the game yet. So I just see him being a good backup on somewhere like the Rams or the Detroit Lions, where they just did that major trade for both quarterbacks. Either quarterback could kind of shit the bed, and Andy Dalton, I think, would be a good man to kind of bring in there and maybe save the day, kind of like the Dak Prescott situation. You know what I mean? We had a good quarterback to kind of step up and take that situation. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if not retirement, I think he's best staying in Miami. I think that's where they need him. Jimmy Garoppolo, I want a reunion in New England. I think if it's not Tom Brady there, I think he's probably going to be the closest thing to a next successor in New England. Cam Newton, retired or Washington football team. That's a team that kind of needs a quarterback and doesn't really have a lot of standards. You know what I mean? They just signed Tyler Heineke to a 2-year deal. Like, that dude had one game.
Yeah, he played pretty good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He had a great game, but that's what I'm saying. They don't them in Washington, I feel like, doesn't have a lot of standards. What's up?
He did a lot better than the Chiefs did against the Bucks. I'm just gonna throw that one out there for that last game.
That's facts. That's really, he played good. He looked like everyone was like, where the fuck has this guy been all year?
Yep.
Like he
played better
did
than
really
any other
good.
Quarterback that went up against Brady in the playoffs and that defense. So
Facts. But I see either Cam Newton being retired or the quarterback of the Washington football team. Carson Wentz. I agree with Jello that I could see him on the Bears, but I think the better fit for him is probably on a team like the Colts. And I'm looking at this more from a personality standpoint. Like, he's more of a country boy. He likes to duck hunt and shit. Indianapolis is kind of that kind of state. Maybe it would fit better. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Colts. Non-biased answer here. Dak Prescott. I'd love to see him as a Cowboy, but I think the better fit for him is in Washington for the Redskins. Their little social media scandal shit is like a bromance type of deal. So Dallas ain't doing it with them. So I think the best fit for him is probably Washington, but I would love to see him stay in Dallas. Derek Carr, I'm going to go ahead and agree with Jello on this one. Giants, Daniel Jones ain't shit up there, and Derek Carr ain't shit in Las Vegas. Why not swap him or maybe just get Derek Carr to New York somehow? And then Sam Darnold, I'm going to agree with both of y'all. Somewhere in the NFC West, whether it's Seattle, whether it's the 49ers, I don't see him being on the Cardinals or anything like that because they have K1, but still anywhere in the NFC West would be a great fit for Sam Darnold. Get him back on the West Coast for real, bro. But yeah, those are the best fits for 2021 quarterbacks in our opinions. And that's going to do it for Rick T Podcast, Scratching the Surface. That's really all we have for today, our first, Sunday morning episode. So we can go ahead and get right into the promotions real quick, unless you guys have something else to add before I get into this.
Yeah, your Celtics need to get it the fuck together.
Who are we playing there?
Washington.
And we're losing?
15-8 right now.
Yeah, I don't. Where's Jason Tatum been?
He's hurt, but he's back. Smart is out.
What I meant was like he has not been the Jason Tatum that I've known. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the best player on the Celtics right now. It's Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, he needs to step up too. He's
Jaylen Brown
well right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's our best player, and he's still not even playing at like a good caliber level. You know what I mean? Especially playing for the Celtics, bro. You're going against KD and all them shits a couple times a year. You better be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
On God, bro. But let's get into this. Shout out to YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for helping us over here at the Rick T Podcast, show and promote NFL, NBA highlights, incoming news, and much more. What you guys see here on the Rick T Podcast with the videos and images are all brought to you guys by YouTube. We do not do any copyright and stuff. Starting next episode, we're actually going to really start shouting out anyone who has anything to do with the videos like that, starting to get our shit right. Don't want to get in trouble or, discredit people for the stuff that they've put hard work into. So shout out to YouTube, and starting next weekend, we're going to really start shouting out people involved in the YouTube making video businesses and stuff like that. So shout out to YouTube and anyone involved in the YouTube business. They're a big help for us here on the Rick T Podcast. Xylo Graphic Designing Company, baby. Xylo's been doing their thing. Shout out to Xylo Graphic Designing Company. They're a graphic designing group that helps make custom images and videos for shows, bands, and podcasts like ourselves to improve the quality of work and bring whatever subjects to the next level. We are proud and excited to have you on the team, Xylo. So go ahead and follow them on Instagram at xylo.gfx and check out his work outside of the work on his show or on this show. He definitely has great work on the show, but he can do even better work for something that you want done. You know what I mean? If you're a football player and you want a highlight tape mixed, or you have a podcast yourself and you want an entrance video made or something, definitely hit Xylo up. He's on the cheaper end, so he's not going to break the bank or anything like that, but he definitely has some fire ass work. He's the one that makes our entrance videos, our highlight videos, stuff like that. So definitely hit up Xylo. He definitely does his damn thing. But that is the end of this episode 32 on the Rick T Podcast. Thank you for everyone who tuned in and enjoyed episode 32 of the Rick T Podcast. We are live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Like I said, one show a week will give us more of a chance to get more information to talk about throughout the show, and with more information means a longer show for you guys to enjoy. Like today, we're almost at 2.5 hours, which you usually go to about 1.5 hours. So you guys got an extra hour of us talking shit on a Sunday morning. Definitely go follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter. Follow and subscribe to us on our YouTube and Twitch to keep updated with all of our Rick T Podcast changes. And like I said, man, we need some subscribers, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube. We need people to stay in touch with us, get involved with us on Instagram, Twitter, anything like that. We love to have fans and stuff stay involved with us on social media. Social media is really powerful. So one retweet or one like or one share to your story could really help the show out and help you guys out a lot from our end. So definitely go ahead and shout us out, do your guys' thing. And, just help the podcast out any way you guys can, whether it's subscribing, whether it's liking, whether it's sharing, anything like that. Like I said, we need all the support we can get from you guys. We try our best for you guys, and we want to continue and keep this going. You know what I mean? Make it to the next level. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Jello. Shout out to Tony for going 32 episodes. You guys for supporting us 32 episodes. We're going to keep going until we can't do this shit more. Or 31 episodes. Yeah, 31 episodes. My bad. For me.
31 for me.
Oh, 31. Yeah, my bad. But like I said, man, shout out to you guys. Shout out to us. We're going to keep going hard. This is just what we love to do. So we're going to keep doing it until we can't do it no more. So Tony, Jello, you guys got anything to say before we bounce the hell out of here?
Jello, go first.
All right. Just want to thank you guys again. I do have an autographed picture. I just got to pull it out. Next podcast, I'm going to throw out a question randomly during the podcast, and whoever gets that question right first will win that, and it'll be sent off the next day.
Sent off the net. You heard Jello. He's going to have a random question. That's not going to give you guys no time to hit Google, nothing like that. We're not giving you guys no time. We need straight question, straight answer to the chat, and we'll give you guys a free giveaway prize sent out to you guys the next day, no questions asked. So be on your P's and Q's when Jello's about to ask that question next episode. Shout it out to your family. Shout it out to your friends. Like I said, Jello will be having that authentic dope shit. Jello has pieces of NFL Super Bowl worn jerseys and shit put into a card and stuff that you guys can win. He has signed jerseys, signed helmets, anything like that he's giving away to you guys. So stay on your P's and Q's, like I said, to go ahead and win that giveaway item on episode 33 next Sunday morning. Like Jello said, he's going to ask a random question. Whoever gets it right will get a getaway prize sent to him, no questions asked the next day. So straight up, be on your P's and Q's. Be here next Sunday. Jello's going to have that question ready. And you know Jello knows his shit, so it's not going to be an easy question. Tony, do you have anything to say?
Yeah. So we're going to be getting some banners made for the podcast. We're currently in the process. Zylo was talking with me in chat. We're currently making the logo and stuff. I have a guy that I've been in touch with that might hook us up on a deal. So obviously the more that we order, the better deal we get. So let us know if you're interested in that. Let Eric know. Instagram one of us. Tweet at us. All the stuff. Let me know if you guys want one. We'll talk about pricing.
Straight up, man. But like I said, that was episode 32 of the Rick T Podcast. We appreciate you guys for tuning in so damn much. We're going to get out of here right after this beat drop. Shout out Pat McAfee for all of our funny-ass commercials. See you guys next Sunday, man. Have a good week. Stay up tuned. Follow us on all social media platforms, man. We don't get it.
Did you see Trevor Lawrence's pro day at all with Urban standing 6 feet in front of him the whole time?
I did. Urban was talking to Dabo the entire time. Then Jordan Palmer was out there mic'd up going through the entire thing. Trevor Lawrence had a great workout today. I think there was 2 misses. I think there was 2 balls on the ground throughout the entire thing. He looked noticeably thin. So he looked thinner in his shorts and T-shirt, but he threw the shit out of the ball. I believe his last ball was like a scramble drill. How you doing? Keep it moving. He threw like 65, 70 yards on a dime. I mean, he had a hell of a morning. He will go into surgery tomorrow for his labrum on his left shoulder. 4 to 5 months for full clearance. 4 to 6 weeks he'll be throwing the ball. Doesn't plan on it being any type of backup, but Urban Meyer was standing basically at linebacker's depth, maybe even D-line depth right in front of his face the entire time. Trevor's hair was impeccable. Yeah. His throws were awesome. And the wide receivers, I think, made some great plays as well. Workout done. Now he has surgery. He said he did it because he wanted to prove that, hey, I'm not different than anybody else. All right, I got to do what I got to do. I like the fact that he probably helped out his wide receivers immensely through that workout too. Now he gets surgery. 4 to 5 months is a long time, though, to be fully cleared, especially going into your rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be rehabbing that left shoulder throughout his – I mean, who knows what the offseason looks like, if they'll be able to get into the facility. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any doubt that he will be the number 1 overall pick. They said he was 6'6", 213, so I'm sure he just isn't able to lift with that torn labrum.
Hey, Schlegel's going to have to rebuild that, dude.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he's ready.
Hey, a lot of conversation about the Iowa director of sports performance, obviously, because Iowa released him because of things that they found out from. And Urban Meyer in Jacksonville was like, yeah, you can sign up here. Now, there are mixed reports from former players. I think that it became a very, very, very hot topic whenever it was happening. There are some players from Iowa that come out and say they absolutely hate this guy. Then there's a couple players that have come out and said they absolutely love the guy. In 2021, in the state of the world that we're in, with the reasons behind him leaving, I think it was surprising to all of us that he got hired down there. I don't think anybody expected that. I wonder if old Schlegel knew he was going to get hired down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Schlegel's relationship was like with him before or anything about it. Hey, but on their website, Schlegel's the head strength coach, and then Doyle is the director of sports performance, I guess. So it encompasses everything: nutrition, sports psychology, whatever that. I don't know how it works. I don't know when he just signed on. It sounds like, but yeah, I mean, Urban's had to talk about it already. They knew when they were thinking about signing him that they're going to have to hey, this is something we will deal with. What are we going to do?
Hey, that's a very interesting hiring. You know. Yeah. How many people can do what he's doing? I would assume there's a lot of people that have been in the nutrition world, sports world, and everything like that. That is quite a – now, it'll get past this because the rumor mill we're in or whatever, but when that hire happened, the internet lit up immediately. It was like, holy shit, what's this going on? But if they win games down there, I assume it'll all be forgotten, kind of like everything.
He was the highest paid strength coach in the nation for a while. I don't know how much that matters, but
Is Schlegel gonna have to alpha this guy down there?
Whoa.
You know what I mean? He's gonna have to be like, you worry about the fucking protein shakes. I'll worry about the gym. All right, I'll do that.
I wonder what he does day to day, like when you are director of sports performance or whatever.